ará oko ọmọ Ìbàdàn ni o.
Ó dàbí pé torchlight ni wọ́n ń lò.
láàárín nana ọtí o ẹ̀rín ní ẹ̀rín kò bí o.
Ọgọ́nà wà yìí o.
ẹ máa ṣe bá mi jà.
Torchlight ni wọ́n ń lò.
Torchlight kan ni. Mo wà ní Èkó Àkété. Ilé ìbúlá bàbá omi kó mi. Èkó àtàkà àtúbú bàbá odò kódò. Kíní tí ń bọ̀ o. Mò ń bọ̀ látọ̀dọ̀ kábíyèsí ní Ìgémowó ní Badagry. Gbogbo ohun tí mo jẹ ó dùn mí pé n ò lè fún yín jẹ ń bẹ̀. Wọ́n jẹ́ nìkan tí wọ́n fi cassava ṣe wọ́n dín ó dùn dáadáa. Ẹ dákun èwo leléyìí dípò kí n rí àwọn èèyàn mi ò rí. Ẹnjìníà dípò kí n rí àwọn èèyàn àwọn ilé oríṣiríṣi ni mo rí o kí ló
Madam, ẹ fi mi ṣe co-host màá gbé àwọn pictures yín jáde pẹ̀lú kábíyèsí.
Ẹ̀yin kọ́ ni wọ́n fi ṣe co-host o ẹ̀yin gan ni host torí àti ìdílé ẹ máa gbọ́ àti ìdílé ojú ọ̀nà la wà inú mọ́tò ni mo ti sọ̀rọ̀.
But Olóòtú is the host now. Presently, Olóòtú is the host.
Ẹ̀yin ni host.
Ẹ jẹ́ wọlé lẹ́tí take over.
Let kick me out. Ṣé ẹ ráyé ọmọ Ìbàdàn?
Ẹ ṣe wọlé lẹ́tí
ṣé ẹ nípa Ìbàdàn tí ń ṣe?
Ẹ ṣe wọlé lẹ́tí ní ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ fún Dr. Ọlọ́pọlọ.
Wọ́n lórí claim.
Oseni wa ń kọ́ o. Where's my lawyer Oseni? Ọ̀túnba Oseni, where are you?
Mo wà pẹ̀lú ẹnjìníà. Ṣé o lè fi Bàbá Oyèfúnlẹ̀ ṣe co-host? Ṣé o lágbára láti ṣe yẹn?
Mo fẹ́ gbọ́ àwọn píṣọ̀ sí jáde.
Reactions. Okay, wọ́n ní ẹ ti jẹ́ co-host.
Mo ti rí co-host.
Bá mo rí àwọn Bàbá ṣe ti accept Bàbá Oyèfúnlẹ̀ ṣe ti accept.
No, kò tẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí n accept ó kàn fi mí síbẹ̀ ni.
Okay, but ẹ ti ní fọ́tò tí ó arọ́mọ lákàrà àkàrà délé sí ọmọ. Àwọn kan ń bọ́ tẹ̀ ẹ́ bọ̀ o.
Olóòtú ní about 2 hours ago ní Badagry.
Wow.
Ní Gbàdárígì.
Ibi tó ti lọ jẹ pátí. A ní kọ́ lọ ṣiṣẹ́ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Pátí náà lọ jẹ.
Mo kó ó lápẹẹrẹ o. Lórúkọ ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe Yorùbá Gbòde. A lọ tú sí lára àwọn ọba pàtàkì tí wọ́n ti wá bọlá fún wa lórí ìtọ́ba làṣẹ Yorùbá Gbòde. A lọ gbé àmì ẹ̀yẹ plaque ó ní a lọ gbé fún wọn. Kí n kọ́kọ́ ti bẹ̀yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ́n gbà wá lálejò mo fẹ́ bú sẹ́kún nígbà tá a débẹ̀ mi ò fi ṣeré. Èmi bẹ́ẹ̀ ń wò yìí olórí gàárì ni mi. Ń èso olórí gàárì olórí ìrẹsì èwo ní ewu orí mi ewu bọ̀rọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí mo yọ sí ààfin mo bú sẹ́kún torí pé àwọn cultural troupe wọ́n ti ń dúró dè wá àfi bí ẹni pé àjù báyìí lọ. Ìlù àti ijó ni wọ́n fi gbé wa wọlé. Nígbà tí a tún wá wọlé tán ṣé ń gbọ́ mi?
À ń gbọ́ yín o.
À ń gbọ́ yín dáadáa.
Ìgbà tí a tún wọlé tán gbogbo àwọn olóyè ìlú ti wà ní sẹpẹ́. Àràbà Badagry wọ́n ti wà ní sẹpẹ́ tí wọ́n ń dúró dè wá.
Ọlọ́run gbà yín.
Bàbá sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá Gbòde. Wọ́n ní kí n sọ fún bàbá Adéníran, bàbá Amòye, pé àwọn ò rí nǹkan tó jọ àwọn lójú tó Yorùbá Gbòde. Wọ́n ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àdúrà fún Yorùbá Gbòde. Èyí tó wá ṣe pàtàkì ń bẹ, ẹni tó bá àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá a gbọ́dọ̀ nígbàgbọ́ nínú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tí àwọn èèyàn ń ṣe. Nígbà tí Àràbà ń wúre fún Yorùbá Gbòde, ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì ni wọ́n da obì yàn lẹ́ẹ̀mejèèjì. Ẹ̀ẹ̀mejèèjì obì yàn. Àwọn onílù ọkùnrin tí wọ́n ń lu aro, a máa rí àwòrán gbogbo ẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n mi ò láǹfààní láti fi hàn ní ìsìn nítorí pé inú mọ́tò ni mo ṣì wà. À ń gbìyànjú láti lọlé. Ní tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé títì kan ò dá agborí ẹ̀ kọjá, ibẹ̀ ní táyà wa ti bẹ́. A tún láti lo nǹkan tó tó wákàtí kan tàbí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ láti tún táyà ṣe. Bàbá wa Ọwọ́ Àjàká.
Ọwọ́ Àjàká. Ẹ ti wà ní ó máa ṣe o. Nẹ́tíwọ̀kì ò dáa fún madam.
Wọ́n ní wọ́n drive ni.
Sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Ilẹ̀ Ifẹ̀. Ọwọ́ Àjàká Adégbò ìta àbálẹ̀ gbọ́, màá sọ dìgbà tí mo bá dé.
À ń gbọ́ yín o, à ń gbọ́ yín o.
Bóyá
ó ti ń ṣe súkè o.
Inú wọn dùn gan-an. Wọ́n bá wa sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹni tó wà ní apá ọ̀tún mi tí ẹ rí, ó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi látìgbà èwe mi. Àwọn ni ó ní M&M Classics ní Maryland.
Gbọ́ o.
ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n close fídíò wọn.
Látìgbà tí mo ti ń ṣe ọmọ tó ń ṣe ṣó lè dúró díẹ̀.
Ìyẹn ó máa clear.
Ok, a ní ká dúró díẹ̀. Ṣé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi báyìí?
À ń gbọ́
yín.
Loud and clear.
Wọ́n ní ká ẹ pa fídíò.
Ṣé kébì pa fídíò káwọn pa fídíò?
Àwọn ní kàn pa fídíò.
Ok.
Torí bandwidth yẹn.
Mo ti pa fídíò.
Good.
Audio yín máa wà òkè.
So wọ́n bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ gan-an. Wọ́n ní àwọn tí ń wá sórí ètò, wọ́n ní ti Yorùbá Gbòde yàtọ̀. Wọ́n ní torí pé àwọn ọlọ́gbọ́n, àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n. Wọ́n ní tí ẹnìkan bá béèrè ìbéèrè tí ò bá yé, táwọn bá dáhùn, wọ́n ní ẹlòmíì ò tún gba ọ̀nà míì láti béèrè torí pé wọ́n fẹ́ mọ kúlẹ̀kúlẹ̀. Wọ́n ní àwọn ò sì bínú torí pé àwọn mọ̀ pé ẹni tó béèrè ọ̀rọ̀ ni ó fẹ́ mọ ìdí ẹ̀. So wọ́n ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àdúrà. Wọ́n ní àwọn tún ń bọ̀ wá sí orí Yorùbá Gbòde. Èmi náà sì fi iṣẹ́ jẹ́. Mo kí wọn dáadáa, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Lára tí wọ́n sọ fún wa tí a máa gbọ́ létà ni wọ́n sọ nípa ìgbé ayé kábíyèsí. Ibẹ̀ ni mo ti mọ̀ pé yàtọ̀ fún pé kábíyèsí Ọwọ́ Àjàká lọ sí College of Education níbi tí wọ́n ti kọ́kọ́ gba NCE lórí education. Wọ́n tún lọ sí school survey. Lẹ́yìn ìgbà tán lọ sí school survey tán, wọ́n tún wá lọ sí Adó Èkìtì University níbi tí wọ́n ti gba oyè ìmọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ sáyẹ́ǹsì níbẹ̀. Àjò ayọ̀, inú mi dùn. lẹ́yìn ìgbà náà ni a lọ síbi sáìtì aṣọ.
Ó máa ṣe àgbọ̀ o.
torí pọ́n wà in transit ni
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
bóyá kò sí network níbi tí wọ́n dé.
Nǹkan tá a ṣẹlẹ̀ ní.
Bàbá Oyèfúlẹ̀ ẹ máa báṣẹ́ lọ àbí?
Ká máa bá ṣe lọ, okay. Okay, well, ẹ jẹ́ kí n show other pictures. Plankton fún kábíyèsí nìyẹn.
Wá náà rè ó wá ojú bẹ́ẹ̀ náà.
Okay. Mo rò ká àwọn pictures náà ti tán. Okay. All right. So kára fi yòókù títí di àbọ̀. Àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Okay. All right. So ó dà pé èmi náà máa ṣe host Yorùbá Gbòde lénìí. Bàbá máa fi bàbá Adébóyè ṣe host, màá rí mi kó host.
Mi ò mọ̀ bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe o.
Wọ́n bá ti ń ṣe ẹ má wọlé ẹ máa dé Ìbàdàn lénìí, Ìbàdàn ló máa ti kọ́ bọ́ ti ń ṣe.
Bí wọ́n ti ń ṣe.
Wọ́n ti ń ṣe. Olúwọ̀gbà mi.
Ẹnìkan tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kábíyèsí yẹn sì jọ Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá.
Ó máa jọ lóòótọ́ òyìnbó kékeré tó wọ ṣẹ́ẹ̀tì yẹn.
No, alágbádá.
Tí alágbádá fólì fọlọ́runṣọ́ nìyẹn.
Àṣòkò tó lẹ́pẹ̀ṣọ́ lọ́run kanlẹ̀. Àwọn Súfì ni.
We all look alike. Nǹkan tó yẹ kẹ́ mọ̀ nìyẹn gbogbo wa.
Àmọ́ wọ́n ti tẹ bá rí ẹ̀yẹ tí wọ́n fi mí ṣe ní Ethiopia. Wọ́n ní Tigrinya ni mí.
Wọ́n ní ibo ilẹ̀ ti wá.
Àwọn lára wọn ni mí pé mo ń sakọ ni ò jẹ́ kí n ṣèdè wọn.
Wọ́n ní Ethiopia ní àbí.
Wọ́n ní wọ́n tiẹ̀ sọ pé Ethiopia ni mí. Wọ́n ní Tigrinya pé mẹ́kẹ́lẹ̀.
Tigrinya, okay.
Pé mẹ́kẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn gan-an ni
láti Tigre.
ọmọbẹ̀ ni mí. Mo wá ń ṣe bí ẹni tí ò gbédè.
Òótọ́ dẹ̀ ni o. Wọ́n máa ní picture.
Ibi tí mo ti rìn káàkiri ẹnìkan pàdé mi Kánò ló ti wá. Ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ ìnákwánú mo ní kí ló pa Bádírù àti Ṣẹ̀lẹ̀ Àpọ̀.
Ẹni kó lọ ná
ó rò pa Hausa ni mí. Wọ́n tún kì mí mọ́lẹ̀ ní Gambia. Africanity is the same.
Yeah.
Ọ̀gá.
Ìyàtọ̀ kí.
Èmi ń sọ̀rọ̀ ṣé ń gbọ́ mi.
À ń gbọ́ yín o.
À ń gbọ́.
So mo sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn obìnrin wọn. Àmọ́ ń rò pé tá a bá ní a fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ láì ní képo bọyọ̀ nígbà tí Ẹlẹ́dàá bá fún wa ní nínú ìgbìmọ̀ amúṣẹ́ṣe èyí tí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn náà máa gbọ́ láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà. Tá a bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ yẹn á tún ní àǹfààní láti lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní fún ró àwọn obìnrin wa lágbára èyí tí wọ́n ń pè ní women empowerment. Ibẹ̀ dùn ó yàtọ̀ fún oúnjẹ kí ni wọ́n pe orúkọ yẹn wọ́n ṣe bí róbó báyìí wọ́n ṣe àgbàdo ṣe kan ó dàbí wọ́n fi ẹ̀gẹ́ mímọ̀ pé ẹ̀gẹ́ wò bá wọn kẹ́ wá ṣe nǹkan wọ́n ní wọ́n wá ní ẹ̀yọ́ ṣe ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ńgbà tá a jẹ yẹn tán pábánbárí rẹ̀.
Ó máa ṣe owó dàgbà tó ti lù sí ẹ̀gẹ́ ẹ̀ náà. Okay. Okay, you're back on again. Okay. Ṣé wàá bẹ̀? Lè gbọ́ lórí kíní sí ìtàwé ìgbọ́. Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi? Mo ti move away from the camera. Wọ́n olóòtú nígbà yìí máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní London. Okay. Yeah, okay, so mo máa introduce yín pé máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa co-host. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. Yeah, ó máa ṣe o.
Mo ti ṣe fún ti padà.
Hello, madam. Ṣé wà ń bẹ̀? Yeye. Okay. Mo rò pé yeye ní network níbi tí mọ́tò wọn wà ń sìn. Ṣé ká máa proceed pẹ̀lú Yorùbá Gbòde?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Oh, all right, sir. Okay. Mo máa stop sharing ní sí because àti rí gbogbo àwọn pictures yẹn tán. Okay. Ẹ káàbọ̀ everybody. Lénìí nǹkan tí mo gbọ́ ni pé a máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa the going on in England. Ṣé revolt ni ṣé protest ni? So Ọ̀túnba Òsénì náà máa sọwọ́ di co-host yẹn sí kán lè wà able láti navigate program yìí láti là wá lóye nípa nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Kí n tó bring wọn on, máa introduce Baba Adébóyè, Professor Adébóyè, Professor of Mathematics. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí sá.
Ẹ kú wájú ẹ̀lẹ́.
Okay. And added to introduce Baba Bankole from Canada. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sá.
Ẹ kúlé o, ẹ kú wájú o, a kú ìsinmi.
All right. Without any fanfare, I will just go ahead láti fi Baba Òsénì máa fi wọ́n ṣe co-host so that kán bá lè fún wa fully navigate this program láti lè fún wa ní nǹkan tó fẹ́ sọ. Baba Òsénì Ọ̀túnba bólẹ̀ sásì o.
Gbàgánì.
Turn picture you on, sir. There you are. Okay, for in the co-host. Has to mute.
Ẹ láti unmute o, Baba Òsénì. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ká gbọ́ yín, ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ unmute.
Mo ní tó wáyé pé méjì ní Ìjẹ̀bú ni device ẹ bá ń lò, ẹ lè má tètè get me.
Yẹ kọ́ o. Ẹ dúró, ṣẹlẹ̀ Ọlọ́run, mi ní nípa Ọlọ́run mú àgbàlagbà o, ìyẹn Ọ̀túnba Òsénì. Mo rò pé sísẹ̀ rẹ̀ ti fi Yeye Yusuf ṣe host again o, so I'm not able to make you a co-host.
Ẹ kàn click lórí orúkọ yẹn níbẹ̀, ẹ bá wọ̀ ṣe bá dà sá.
Mo ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ so bẹ́ẹ̀ kó ẹ jẹ́ kí n béèrè lọ́wọ́ engineer.
Because it's not the host, only the host can make changes.
Exactly, wọ́n tún ti yọ mí kúrò ní host ní nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn.
Wọ́n fi yín ṣe host rárá, co-host náà fi yín sí látẹ̀kan yẹn.
Okay, yeah. So ó dà ń pé Alhaja Yusuf ló máa make Ọ̀túnba co-host ẹ lè release èmi as a regular listener. Alhaja engineer.
Bẹ̀bí Ọ̀túnba ò bá ní share anything wọ́n lè máa sọ̀rọ̀ wọn lọ.
But that's also an idea. No, it's okay.
Okay, ṣé ká ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀?
Yeah, of course.
a
Anything
lè
that
ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀.
All right.
Okay, wọ́n ti fi yín ṣe host nísìnyí sà. Wọ́n ti fi yín ṣe host Dr. Yefule.
Ọ̀túnba ẹ máa tún gbé wíìgì lọ yín àwọn tó ń fi mí ṣe kóòsì tó tún yọ mí kóòsì tó ń fi mí sí tó ń yọ mí kóòsì yìí.
ẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ sì wọ́n àbí.
You are now host now, sir. So the people about to
Okay,
co-host.
ẹ jẹ́ kí n wò okay, now I'm making you co-host, Ọ̀túnba. Do you want to make Ọ̀túnba co-host? Yes. Okay. The ball is in your quarter, sir.
About maybe 2 minutes. I'm trying to. I've invited a practicing lawyer who is also specialized in immigration. He works in London, the UK, and also in Nigeria as a lawyer. So I'm not seeing him joining. But if there's another thing, we can find another program that I discuss generally until when it comes, because he'll be the major person that introduced the topic. Then I only do it follow up. So I just can check. Samsung SME.
Lawyer ni sir.
Okay, lawyer Suleiman Abi.
Yes, sir, lawyer today Suleiman.
Oh, Suleiman, okay. Thank you very much for coming. Jabali changes. Okay. Change your coincidence. Okay, our guest is in. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll let you discuss what happened, I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago in the UK. I'm sorry to do derogative word, but that's the tomorrow point. Àwọn ọmọ ọ̀lẹ kan, àwọn ọmọ ọ̀lẹ tí wọ́n ní iṣẹ́ lápá tó ń pariwo wípé they want their country back, they want their clinic back, and so on and so forth. So in order to give us more in-depth into what their cry, their sentiment is all about, we need to look at the issue about immigration. What is immigration? What has immigration issue?
Ẹ má bínú Ọ̀túnba, ó dà pé volume microphone kò high enough.
Okay, so ẹ gbọ́ nǹkan tí mo sọ.
Mo ń gbọ́ sí èmi ń gbọ́ mi mọ àwọn yòókù bẹ́ẹ̀ mo ń gbọ́.
À ń gbọ́ dáadáa.
So as I was saying, it's come to be like many foreigners mo ti try láti find the page bóyá àwọn àgbààgbà tán jẹ́ olórí ètò nínú Christianity mo nílò pé wọ́n sọ pé ibi tí èèyàn bá ń gbé ibẹ̀ nílé ẹ̀. So immigration has always been a general thing all over the world. Kò sí gbogbo America kan náà ni Americans, àyùmọ̀ immigrants ló lè kẹ́. So without further ado, I'm going to call on our guest, Alàgbà Suleiman Babatunde, is that name? Ṣé wà ń bẹ̀ sà?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sà, mo wà bí sà.
Okay. Ṣé ẹ lè bá change orúkọ yẹn sí full name yìí, so àwọn àgbààgbà kan wà ní lórí ìjókòó ni wọ́n ti ṣe ẹni tó bá sọ ẹ lè máa ní láti ṣojú yín lẹ̀wẹ́ bọ́ sí.
Okay, jẹ́ kí send ẹ̀ by chat nígbà rẹ̀.
Okay, but we like to see your face. So our guest will talk about immigration, general immigration. What do we understand as a student of either law or international politics or political science?
Ọ̀túnba, orúkọ wo lẹ fẹ́ kàn change kí n bá yín change orúkọ?
Suleiman, lawyer Suleiman.
Barrister Suleiman.
Barrister Suleiman, whatever.
Barrister Suleiman. Okay, mo ti change it.
She's yeah, well, that is okay. that's about right. But when you spell it Suleiman Wanyat, but that's fine. You can even though in law, orúkọ ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe spell it, wọ́n lè sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ ìtẹ́ni ẹni tó change orúkọ.
mo rò pé èdè Ìjẹ̀bú làwọn lò.
Dr. Yefule mi kọ́ mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o.
ẹ jù wọ́n lẹ̀ ẹ̀yin ṣáà ní lọ́ọ̀yà mi ẹ̀yin lẹ́ máa bá mi sùn wọn.
Bá a ṣe ń ba lọ yìí àwọn tá a máa sùn lẹ́kìtì gbọ̀ngàn wọ́n máa pọ̀ gan-an.
owó lawsuit money tá a máa kó lọ́ọ́lé ó máa pọ̀.
So
ẹ máa kó owó rẹ̀ pọ̀ ní gbọ̀ngàn kálọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Of course, I'm at the gbọ̀ngàn.
So it's my pleasure to introduce to the house Barrister Suleiman. Barrister Suleiman, talk to us about immigration. Ṣé a lè rojú yín sà?
Okay, ẹ lè rojú mi. Okay, ẹ jẹ́ try láti.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. So
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Before you start, I want to also say to the house, and to any question, about take notes, so then there'll be time to ask question and answer. All right. The floor is yours. Talk to us what immigration is all about.
Yeah, okay. All right. Ẹ kálẹ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin àgbààgbà tí ẹ wà. Inú mi dùn láti wà ní orí platform yìí. And in fact, àárọ̀ lèmi rò tẹ́lẹ̀ Ọ̀túnba, mo rò pé ATM nígbà tí mi wá wò pé àbí mo get àbí US time lẹ́ ń lò ní àbí gan tí mi wá. Àti wọ́n rí i pé alẹ́ yìí ṣàmúlò ti ẹ̀ ti dá náà. So, yes, inú mi dùn láti wà part of this program and that's part of this discussion. Orúkọ mi bó ṣe sọ Barrister Suleiman Túndé ọmọ Kúkú níjẹ̀bú àti Dáúdù ní ìsàlẹ̀ Èkó méjèèjì lájọ papọ̀. Mo actually practice ní England for many years as a immigration and criminal solicitor, and also qualified in Nigeria back then. I've been practicing then before I came to England, and I've been here for many, many years. The issue of immigration has always been a very sensitive issue, and also very very topical, very important. And looking back in the history as well, it has always played a major role in the development of countries all over the world. But essentially, under the United Nations conventions and all the other treaties, it is recognized as part of sovereignty of any country to maintain their immigration control. So that's fundamental. For anyone that is not the citizen, every country is entitled to maintain immigration control, set down rules, how you come in, how you register, whether you come with a visa or non-visa, whether you can establish as a business there, whether you can reside with your family, whether you can get permanent settlements, and how do you also become citizen. These are all the chains toward immigration. I'm sure we are all aware of this, and that is not my attempt láti state obvious and all that, but I just said that Latif set the tone for our discussion. And so in my course of engagement as an immigration practitioner in the UK for many years, issue of I think we started off from the issue getting people asylum seekers. Again, that is under United Nations Convention. It's also recognized that as much as the state put up immigration control, they are bound to also recognize refugees who have fled their country on the basis of well-founded fear of persecution, either based on religion, either based on ethnicity, or other social or members of a social group, or politics, religion, ethnic, social group. So we have helped people from all over the part of the world, Somali, Iraqi, Afghanistan, and all that, to apply for settlement, to apply for refugee status, and they go through various steps, whether interview and all that, submission of evidence. If you are refused, you go on an appeal, and then you have the students coming in. You have the student coming in for applying for studentship and all that. You have all the students bringing their dependents, also to join them, finally to get settled down, and then also for workers, skilled workers, coming in. What are the criteria? What is required? People that want to set up business. These are all facets of or marriage. Marrying somebody that is citizen, how do you apply all of these, Lati? We have gone through length and breadth of all of these exercise, and it's not different from any other part of the world, including Nigeria as well. It's the same thing, standard that everyone has put in place to implement all of this. So in essence, people have also always migrate. Discuss it. People have always found, even from back in the days, but she said because she established America, but she established England itself as well. Foreigners, even the rules were established at that time. People have always found a way to migrate. Even our prophet as well from history, Prophet Muhammad, Prophet Jesus himself, they all moved from one part or another to settle in another part of the world. So the benefit of all that has been that migrant or immigrant have always contributed to the establishment and settlement to a strong economy of any country, and also has also contributed to in terms of skills, in terms of their experience. So inevitably, they have been pivotal to getting their economy strengthened, and even political economy as well, not just economy, fiscal, the fiscal side. So that is to me, that's the essence. That is the benefit of getting the shortfall and that's what is confronting us in England and also elsewhere in Europe. I'm not sure about America. If there is a shortfall of workforce, immigrants in these countries have always filled that space, and they are still doing it. In terms of medical, it is on record that Nigerian migrants, Asian migrants are the major forces, even in the NHS and in this our England as at today. And in terms of even the students, now they are saying that there is a shortfall 1/3. Almost 1/3 of our change rules recently. Dependent on the student, except people that are there on postgraduate. That has seen a decline in the number of students that is coming to England, and àwọn náà lọ tún wá ń pariwo fúnra wọn sì pé university wọn ò rí àwọn student mọ́ bó ṣe yẹ bó ṣe wá, because everybody now turning to other countries, Canada, preferably, and US. I think they have also taken the larger number of these students. Australia is also becoming an interesting place now that students are moving on to. Even New Zealand is also on the platform. So, migrants, suffer at the end. That's the clear message to established. So, coming to the recent development or development effect, tell you in England, yeah, purely derived from that's the side of the mark with the politics of immigration. So there is that essence, the side of the politics of immigration. They are wiping up all that sentiment and all that just to support their political agenda, which is very dangerous. But then because of the transition suddenly from the conservative to the Labour, Labour has always been pro-migrant and pro-immigrant and all that. They're well known for that. And that was always been at a point. So since Gaza is going now, I think they are just creating it's a kind of a throwback against their losing power. So this exercise will continue. In my own reckoning, it will continue for a while against forthcoming elections or whenever the election. They will want to be creating this atmosphere of fear, creating a sentiment of that immigrant no one and all that, so that there will be that hatred. But then it depends on how the government itself of the day will be able to confront such challenges, which are also very trying. I must confess, where the Labour has managed to curtail to a large extent this wave of so-called riots and under the pretext of protest. I think that is what I will say for now, without taking much of time. But time will tell how all this will pan out, how long this is able to consistently be manifested. I think it's what we will all, by the very special grace of God, we will all live to see it. Is part of that political phenomenon and movement that history will obviously recall at some point. Whether this will continue for a substantial period of time, I doubt it, because even in the face, luckily, there are very many good people as well in this country that are very much opposed to all sorts of hatred, mopping up of hatred and all that. And that's reflected in the recent development. Pro-migrants, stage protest one. And even now, migrants, they are also putting up forces together. That's my fight back. And that is happening now because people are being pushed to the wall to the point that they are almost in fear of their life. And what everyone is saying, that we are all British citizens, you cannot start to tell us what is not. This country is all ours. Grandfather and all that, and second generation, third generation, they are here. I don't know, and contend with. So I think it's not it's not an easy thing that they think they can just mop up and put people in fear and start that their far right agenda here in the UK. I think they will struggle with that. That's it. Thankfully, most of them that are the ringleaders and all that are being rounded up. 70% of them are remanded in jail at the moment. They've been not even remanded; they've been sentenced, and they are serving. So that's serving as a warning notice to most of them. That's why things are a little bit quieted down in the last few days, to the best of my knowledge. And I think that is the British government is well commended. The government of Kremer is well commended for that. But having said that, they also need to be reminded, and there are voices that are also saying that many of us are capture a video by MP going to make very, very potent submission in Parliament recently. Ó remind wọn ibi tí king wọn fúnra wọn gan ti wá. ó remind wọn àwọn èèyàn pàtàkì tí wọ́n set up ìlú yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bó náà ti wá láti Greece ni, láti Italy ni, láti Vatican City ni, gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ low state which was very powerful and it's all well round. Ó jẹ́ káwọn gan kí wọ́n sit tight to remind themselves. Many of these people náà tó ń ṣe just because they are only white skin ni wọ́n ṣe ń rò pé àwọn wà English British, but tó bá wo root wọn gbogbo wọn náà wá tó wá láti France ó ti pẹ́ mi báyìí náà tó ti di kíní àwọn náà sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n rò pé English wọn, so they are reminding them of all that. So and I think that's what it is. Also, people are reminding them that listen, àwọn UK tiyín náà wọ́n wà ní Qatar, wọ́n wà ní US, people move around, wọ́n wà ní Australia, wọ́n lọ ṣiṣẹ́ ń bẹ̀, and US náà wà ní báyìí and all that. So except ẹ bá sọ pé àwọn minority, àwọn dark skin ló ṣẹ̀yìn lẹ́ẹ̀fẹ́ as immigrant nìkan ni, then you're putting yourself on a very hot plate of being racist and all sort of nomenclature tó máa fi fún yín lè fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ yín lórúkọ ni. Anyway, so kí Ọlọ́run máa protect all the lives of people who have established and also try to earn a decent living across the world, and Amari to relate put back to the back old days, and rather than that can only be moving in the direction for prosperity and development across the world. So that is that's my take on this, and I'm happy to continue to add voice to the further discussion on this, and I hope that I've been able to just set the tone of that discussion tonight. And again, I appreciate being given that opportunity to be part of this discussion, and I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lawyer Barrister Suleiman. Again, I want to make a quick announcement. Let's say 15 minutes, I'll be switching over to Nigeria. I'm doing an interview on Ukraine and Russia. I'll be back within 5 minutes. Now, thank you very much, Barrister Suleiman. If anybody have any question, please raise up your hand. But then before you go today, I just want to top up what Barrister Suleiman said. Immigration is nothing than country by country. We use it we use it to whip up sentiment, to create. We use it for political gain, for political reasons, and so on and so forth. But the truth of the matter is that there's nowhere in the whole world. I remember when Nigeria, I think was that in 1963 or 1960 something, that we insisted that Ghana must go and all that. In fact, it got into a point that most of what Nigerians thought Ghanaians were doing were even taking the shashewo point. So we can talk from today to tomorrow about immigration is all over the world, but 99% of it is it is the fundamental right of every country to regulate, to put it the way they want it. But the thing is, what happened a couple of weeks ago, I say it openly, it is an unwinnable war. There's nowhere in the history of UK that they want to have 100% white. And I want to appreciate Lawyer Suleiman bringing us to the point that King is not going to show more Great Britain. So what are we talking about? And the also. So, but then again, the way some of us will see it, and also will be one of them that maybe it's all about what I did do, one we're after, because fair is fair. The will go to cut on town sheet. The achievements do scatteredly. Ama achieve we excel. For now, on the Tomafi coin, maybe another 100 years. Tamawani, Ibuwa, Tamawani Lua. So that we'll be doing better. I don't know, 100 years. I hope I'm still around soon. So for me, it's neither this nor that issue of immigration. Countries, they use it according to Bomasife. As we speak now in America, one of the contenders, is already using immigration, which I think is also very stupid. You can trace him to Germany. So I want to allow people to ask questions, and please, if you raise up your hand, let me start with one of our lagbas. Babadiboye, any question, sir?
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀. Ibi tí mo ti fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí n tó béèrè question mi, ó ní pé tá a bá yí gbogbo ayé po, a rí wípé ìgbà tí àwọn òyìnbó wá sí Amẹ́ríkà, àwọn tí wọ́n bá níbẹ̀, inú ò dùn sí nǹkan tí àwọn òyìnbó ń ṣe, ṣùgbọ́n wọn ò lágbára láti lé wọn padà. Ìgbà tó òyìnbó wá rí pé apá ò tiẹ̀ ní ká gbogbo nǹkan tó ń lè ṣe níbẹ̀, ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí kó ẹrú wá láti ilẹ̀ Áfíríkà. Àwọn tí wọ́n ti ń dáko ní Amẹ́ríkà, àwọn òyìnbó tó wá tí wọ́n bá àwọn explorers wá àtàwọn tó ń ṣe kí wọ́n ti sọra wọ́n ti rò pé àwọn ọmọ onílé, pé àwọn dúdú tí wọ́n lọ kó lẹ́rú wá yẹn, àwọn ló ń baṣẹ́ jẹ́ fún wọn ní ó jẹ́ káwọn ó ní lọ síwájú. Mi ò ní pẹ́ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí o, mo kàn ń sọ ni pé ǹjẹ́ kì í ṣe class issue ńlọrọ̀ immigration? In other words, àwọn tó ń ṣe dáadáa, kò sí ẹni tẹ́ lè lọ kó wá ń dálẹ̀, á pẹ́ díẹ̀ kí wọ́n tó catch up pẹ̀lú àwọn tó ń ṣe dáadáa tí wọ́n bá ń bẹ̀. But àwọn tí ò ṣe dáadáa tí wọ́n bá bẹ̀, tí wọ́n jókòó, tí wọ́n wọ̀nà tí wọ́n tó ń wá bàjáde, kẹ́nìkan wá dé lánàá láì ní bàtà, kó di lónìí kọ́ mọ gun mọ́tò. Èmi tí mo ti wà níbí láti bí ọdún 25, mi ò rí kẹ̀kẹ́. Nǹkan tó ń fa immigration jealousy nìyẹn. Tí àwọ̀ wọn bá padà, wọ́n lè mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ pàjọ́jì lẹ́nìkan. So ẹni táwọ̀ rẹ̀ yàtọ̀ sí wọn ni wọ́n máa mọ̀ obvious àjòjì ni wọ́n bá jà. Ṣé ń get me? But what is the philosophical basis for handling issues of immigration? Kí ló yàtọ̀? Kí ni yàtọ̀ láàrin ọmọ Accra àti ọmọ Èkó tá a fi sọ pé Ghana must go? Bó o bá mọ̀ pé ọmọ Ghana ni, bó bá sọ èdè Nàìjíríà sí tí ò lè dáhùn, báwo? Fundamentally, therefore, what is our philosophical position? Not United Nations ìgbà àwọ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan. What are expectations? Wọ́n ní ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọrin kan kẹ́lẹ́ bá àwọn ibi tí mo ti ń bọ̀. Lójú ọlọ́wọ́ la dẹ́tẹ̀ ó mú kọ́ tán ń gbá. Yàrá bí mo gbọ́ ọwọ́ àtẹsẹ̀ mi lọ́wọ́ mi. Adẹ́tẹ̀ ni bí adẹ́tẹ̀ làwọn tó wá láti ta. Ojú onílé, lójú wọn ni omi ò sọ pé adẹ́tẹ̀ ni wọn o. Lójú àwọn tí wọ́n bá ní tí wọ́n ti jókòó bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́ ní nílé Àwórì fún bí ọdún 25. Ẹ̀tẹ́ ẹ̀sẹ̀ dé lánàá àtọ̀run ìwà bí adẹ́tẹ̀ ni tí ò tó rí jáwéjáwé tí ò ṣe kíní kan. Kó sì wá yẹ pé ojú mi bí mo jókòó síbẹ̀ yẹn, oní yóò tún máa jẹun tí yóò tún máa yó láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì, láàrin oṣù méjì. Lójú mi bẹ̀rẹ̀ náà tẹ́mi ò rí jájẹ, ibi tí immigration jealousy ti máa ń wá nìyẹn. But what should be our philosophical position? Torí irú ẹ̀ wà Nàìjíríà ní ìsinyìí o, ó kàn fara sí ni. Àwọn kan dé láti ibìkan wọn láwọn làwọn lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Àwọn tí wọ́n wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ tí wọ́n sọ pé a máa lé wọ inú ọ̀sà ni. Fundamentally, the problem is there locally and globally. What is our philosophical position? Nígbà tá a bá mọ philosophical position wa, la máa mọ̀ bá ṣe máa apply it to each situation, local or global. Ibi tí mò ń lọ nìyẹn.
Yes, sir. Lawyer Suleiman.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe bàbá tí ọ̀rọ̀ àgbà náà sọ yìí ó dẹ̀ da bó ṣe address ẹ̀ dé what I call the philosophical underpinning of immigration.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sá, mo gbé ìbò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
No sir, mo rò pé mo kàn try láti jẹ́ kí kó wà very kí ló ti ń pè ká lè gbọ́rọ̀ yẹn kó yé ogun wa yékéyéké ni. Ẹ ṣé sà. Ẹ ṣé tí ẹ tún mú wa padà wá sílé náà tó jẹ́ pé a tún wá wò pé even láàrin wa that discriminatory ẹlẹ́yàmẹ̀yà kò lè ṣe kó má ṣẹlẹ̀ láàrin, ó dàbí pé nǹkan tí philosophy yẹn tí bàbá rán wa létí nìyẹn, so that táwọn òyìnbó náà bá wá ń lò against àwa náà bí mo ṣe sọ ní mo ṣe round up discussion mi náà pé ó dàbí pé ethnic based kìíní náà ni wọ́n ń face, because kò sẹ́ni tó máa ń face àwọn òyìnbó tó jẹ́ pé ó wá láti Australia tó ń ṣe IT, tó jẹ́ IT engineer, tó jẹ́ aeronautics engineer, gbogbo wọn náà ń wá from tó dẹ̀ wá ń lu yìí náà, but kò sẹ́ni tó máa rí àwọn yẹn. But àwọn tí wọ́n ń pèrò kó tó tún mérò tó tún mérò tẹ̀léra wọn pàápàá yẹn ló tún jẹ́ tí refugee bá wọlé á tún kó ọmọ ẹ̀, á tún kó àbúrò, á tún kó ọmọ àwọn kàkà kan benefit ìlú, àwọn náà tún máa láwọn fẹ́ gba owó ìjọba and all that and gbogbo social welfare benefit and all that. So it's a very deep. Téèyàn bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ sòótọ́, èèyàn láti sòótọ́ ń tòótọ́ nípa pé sometimes téèyàn bá jókòó tó bá wò lùlù yìí gan, ìwọ gan wà concern ni pé ṣé kìí ṣe pé wọ́n dẹ̀ ti gbàlú mọ́ àwọn onílù pàápàá lọ́wọ́, pàápàá tó bá dérú area kan nílùú ìwà rí pé o tiẹ̀ lè rí kó tó réyìnbó gan wà pàápàá ní London wà yìí and all that. Anyway, ká padà wá sí ọ̀rọ̀ underlying issue náà. So nǹkan tí mo fi sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé tírù yẹn bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ kò sígbà tí ò ní raise that ethnic sentiment and consciousness láàrin àwọn èèyàn pé kí ló dẹ̀ ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìlú wa yìí ó máa fẹ́ gbàlú mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Irú ẹ̀ lọ́rin àwọn bàbá fi rán wa létí pé ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lÉkòó, bí bóyá wọ́n ní Igbo must go tí ọdẹ́lẹ́jọ́ mẹ́ta yìí náà tún ní Igbo must go, ọpẹ́lọpẹ́ àwọn àgbààgbà tí wọ́n tún dá ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ń fẹnu sí i tí wọ́n ṣe. And then wọ́n rán wa létí ti Ghana must go, and the same thing happened in Ghana náà, Nigeria must go. South Africa náà wọ́n ní Nigeria must go tó di yẹ́lẹyẹ̀lẹ tó yẹ pé àwọn people life àwọn ọmọ wa náà wà endangered. Political kini náà fi resolve at the time to be died down, but then ṣé kò tún ní rise up again is another thing. So it's not just bóyá UK àbí US ní ọ̀rọ̀ ṣe ó máa continuously ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀. How they will now handle it, I think, is the major issue tí èèyàn máa láti wò, because to be honest, that's the philosophy tó wà láàrin ẹ̀. Ìwọ̀nba ní pé àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀dá èèyàn ìwà àbí báwo ló ṣe ń pè the human factor òun ló wà at play bí àwọn bàbá ṣe ṣàlàyé. Kò dẹ̀ ní ṣaláì máa rí bẹ́ẹ̀, kò ní ṣaláì as long as human bá ń jẹ́ human, there will always be that self-consciousness, that ethnic or social inclusion or exclusion. Kò lè ṣe kó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ kó dẹ̀ máa raise concern among the citizens, especially when things are not, the economy bá wà tó bá lọ on the negative side, and I think that's when things also get compounded. So it's a matter for, in terms of way forward and how to handle that, it's a matter for how the government will handle that at any given time, especially people that are in charge of making the laws, that is the lawmakers. To me, when they I also recognize the fact that whatever happens, we must not lose sight of that cohesion among the citizens, so that there must always be a group of people within this, among the citizens, who will always stand for that inclusion. As much as, so there will always be face-off between those that are campaigning for social inclusion and social exclusion. How we maintain that balance is what the government will have to deal with. And also, well-meaning people in the society, they must always stand for the correctness of that balancing social inclusion, no matter what. Again, that reminds us that in some very developed society, our civil society organizations ni wọ́n máa ń champion that social cohesion. What they do behind the wall or behind the door is unbelievable. They actually go about to raise this consciousness, to raise awareness, to contact people, well-meaning people, to douse they do a lot of that intervention, which most of the citizens are not aware of. These are civil society organizations or non-governmental organizations that are really working. So there's some social, some other, part of them are the peace building communities, peace building organizations. There are quite a lot of them that are backed by the other international organizations who are well funded. They do a lot of all these campaigns for social cohesion. And then where you see counter protest that is coming up within a short period of time. I don't know, man, one day. So I think that is what I can say further in this question, because otherwise we can go on and on. Láti discuss our issue yìí, but then it's always good to remind ourselves so that we don't start castigating totally. Otherwise, we have started that path already. Our UK nìkan ni àti UK ló ṣe. But àwọn bàbá náà tún wá rán wa létí ọ̀rọ̀ adẹ́tẹ̀ yìí. Wọ́n tún wá ní àwa náà nílé náà ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ náà, káwa náà máa fi kìlẹ̀ ń ṣe nílé nìkan náà. A tún remind àwa náà nípa ti South Africa, nǹkan tó jẹ́ àwọn ọmọ wa náà rí. Same thing náà náà sọ pé wọ́n gbaṣẹ́ wọn ni, wọ́n ṣe kinní kan ni, wọ́n ń ṣe àwọn náà dá criminality lẹ̀. And it will continue to be so. Ìjọ kan sì náà, Canada too appear to be the most loving and receptive country now. Before you know it now, someday àwọn náà ní àwọn ó dẹ̀ ti wá ń pọ̀ jù and all that. So how they manage such a situation is what really, really need to be strengthened at all times. Ẹ ṣé gan sir.
Yeah.
Ẹ ṣé, mo dúpẹ́ o.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Prof. Before you go, I'm about to switch over to another thing for 3 or 5 minutes. Lawyer Suleiman, I want you to please go back to the mic and tell us more about the 2 or 3 weeks event. What happened? And before you go back to that, I also want to say that Gbogbo nǹkan báwọn yìí is also part of rules tí àwọn government máa ń lò all over the world. Here is the same government that want to convert a street sweeper to citizenship of that country, because they also use they need the number, because àwọn role méjì wọ́n kàn fi immigrants wọ́n kàn fi wọ́n ṣe ping pong ni, because they need more people. I mean, that I'm a British citizen does not mean pay you take me away from Nigerian-ness me or whatever. But the man can sing, I can be more, I can you more young, citizens. So please, Barrister Suleiman, tell the audience more about killing Kontufa incident in 2 or 3 weeks. Ṣé torí pé àwọn boys yẹn pé wọ́n lè wá bus 38 ní London dàbí pé wọ́n mú gbójú ní àbọ̀lẹ̀ ni wọ́n àbí ojú ni wọ́n kọ̀. Can you please dwell more on that for our audience? Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of there are a lot of background events to actually lead to that, and there are different accounts for actually what led to that scenario. Ọ̀rọ̀ bọ́ọ̀sì yẹn, I think it was also actually secondary because ìtò ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ gangan was ọmọ tí wọ́n ló lọ ṣúùtì èèyàn tó lọ ṣúùtì àwọn ọmọ òyìnbó kan ní London bẹ́ẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ wá àdírẹ́sì tó wọ́n kọ́ hide orúkọ ẹ̀ later náà wá nígbà tó wọ́n hide orúkọ ẹ̀ wọ́n wá ní minority kan ní apá ọmọ Uganda ọmọ kìíní African country kan ní ibi tó ti gba náà jẹ nìyẹn pé a ti gbà yín láàyè tó tún wá di pé ìwọ náà fẹ́ máa lọ máa yọ̀bẹ sí àwọn èèyàn kan lọ pa àwọn ọmọ àwọn. So that led to that. Obviously, account to the only boss, I think that is another one. Tí èmi ò tiẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ gbọ́ yẹn to that extent. But be that as it may, all those events was only meant to be a trigger. It falls at the time to me, that's what I see, that he's actually politically motivated to the point that àwọn kí ló ti ń pè Nigel Farage, àwọn the extreme far right, they now lean on that. And to me, it will continue to be so for a while because for a while, we don't really backing one, don't really finance stuff. I don't really know, but I know that Farage is resourceful, more than sure, more than what's into a lot to make sure he's under surveillance to almost 24 hours. But it appears that the reality is that our far right, àwọn náà fẹ́ máa lẹ́nu, wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ máa wipe up kí àwọn citizen wọn wà conscious of that fact pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá rise up ń sìn yìí o gbogbo nǹkan wọ́n máa mú gbogbo nǹkan máa mú lọ. I think that consciousness is strolling in from Europe. A fallout also the bá wò pé ní other Europe also the far right movement is getting prominent. Yellows fall back to England lower báyìí. So whether it will continue to be so in the next foreseeable years, it's something that the government will have to take control over. There will always be that opportunistic event to trigger one, to come out and do this. But the reality, as I said, is that this thing, it will be continuing for a long, long, long time. That far right movement and activism. I think with what is going on now, they're just regrouping. I believe so. I don't know the implication of what the sentences don't give. I'm not sure whether it will be negative or positive. I'm sure government is also right, but that wave of movement, in my own reckoning, will continue for a while so that ìjọba náà ní láti move safeguards. And then our community I think that's what we will probably be encouraging ourselves, how we will need to ensure that our people everybody mama sit too comfortably without raising alarm anyway, because I don't think there's any need for panicking at all, except for our outside yellow concern, Manchester, Birmingham, and all that. But London, is still manageable. But there is concern where minorities are not quite in large number. But I think every community is also trying to also put some form of defensive mechanism in place. And the fear is that how we continue to live in such fear. Canvey Island recently. One of the police stations there. Maybe it was the first time I've gone to Canvey Island, just after Benfleet and Essex. It was the first time that I will actually be very conscious of my safety because now here and there. In England, it's never happened. I have to look, watch my back. I was so conscious of that. One boss ètò wà lẹ́yìn mi mo láti máa wà position láti wò pé kí ló fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́yìn yẹn. So it has come to that stage, and it's so shameful. But again, I'm glad that we're using this platform. Lati also reach out that I think we need to be very self-conscious, and I'm very much aware of what is going on across the land, both now and in the future. I think that's much I would say on that. Thank you, sir. Hello?
Ọ̀túnba.
Ó dà ń pọ̀ tún bá ti lọ.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, ẹ ṣé gan for your comment, Ms. Barrister Suleiman. Ó dà ń pé
Thank you.
Mr. Oni, Dr. Wole Oni ní comment láti make.
Okay, excellent.
Ẹ ṣé Ọ̀túnba, mo kí gbogbo ilé o. Mo kàn fẹ́ sọ wípé, in my own opinion, wípé having been in the UK myself for quite a few years, these problems was caused by the Europeans themselves. And apart from the historical aspect, they went around the world colonizing and all the rest of it. The point really is that, people migrating to Europe, it's very, very high, even currently speaking. People are coming in every day, almost every day. You see that, people coming on through the Mediterranean, boats every day. It is happening every day. People are pouring into the UK. They're claiming asylum for frivolous reasons. Some of them are genuine asylum seekers, but there are people who are persecuted in many, many countries for whatever reason. UK is the traditional home of the oppressed from wherever they came from. For example, when the Ukraine war started, the UK government, although the Ukrainians are obviously white because they're Europeans, but they gave like a open checkbook, open door policy to all local authorities in the UK. They have to provide Ukrainians with a home, So the point was really, if I make it, people have always migrated from places where there are less opportunities to where there are more opportunities all over the world. Nobody can stop that. The Europeans themselves cannot. In fact, that is how the Europeans themselves have ended up all over the world. For example, today we have West South Africans, Australians living in Australia. They were never indigenous to those places. So, and the other thing really now is that because these people, the colored population of Europe is so high now that there's really nothing these people can do about it. The racist, the far right parties, they've always been there. The National Front, the UK, British National Party, and all the rest of them, they've always been there. What is really sad this time is that, because of the sad event that led to the deaths of those 3 young children, that hooligans will just start going on the streets and stopping anybody. That I've never ever experienced that in all my years of living in the UK, and that is very, 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 very worrying. But and the other issue, initially when it started, they could not control the situation, and this was what actually emboldened these thugs going around. They're stopping people, looking at people who's in the car. If you are not a white person, they're telling you cannot carry on with your journey, attacking people, beating people up. But do you know what? One thing I like about the UK justice system, as bad as it looked, the police were going around taking pictures, taking videos, and just like Barrister Suleiman said, I think about 70% of those hooligans have been caught, they've been prosecuted, and many of them, I think the longest jail sentence during the week was a couple of people that were jailed for 3 years. Most of them got much smaller sentences, So, and the other thing that I was very happy was, these races now, they now published, other parts of the UK. Ikwe and Wumbo, they are coming to attack them. And of course, the anti-racist league, all the black groups, they themselves, the Asians, the blacks, they now tell them, okay, come, we'll be waiting for you. And of course, they never showed up. They never showed up. So it is, okay, they're in the majority, but if they want to start a race war, nobody is going to win a race war. And I'm sure the UK government will not allow that to happen. And of course, the British police are there. They always do a good job in these kind of situations. And, they just have to live with people who are not white, because these black people have been coming to the UK either forcefully or willingly for, 400-500 years. So, it's a very established population here, and they cannot be intimidated because they have nowhere. This is their home. They have nowhere else to go. So the racists, we have to learn to live with them. And if they break the law, they will be caught. They will end up, being jailed. They'll be being prosecuted and being jailed. Actually, that's all I have to say, sir. Thank you very much.
Go, Dr. Oni. Does Dr. Barrister Suleiman have anything to add to that?
No. Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. Oni. That's a very explicit contribution.
Thank you.
I think he has nailed it from experience of living over here for a while. So so that is it. I think yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Barrister.
Thank you.
Kini nkan tí mo máa add, Dr. Oni, ni pé you're very correct. Ó lè gbà gan ni nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí. Bí àwọn náà wá sí ẹjẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ limit wọn sí Nàìjíríà. Mo pé lè náà ṣẹlẹ̀ all over the place tó ń pè the British Empire. Tó ní pé the sun will never set on the British Empire. Ní 1914, for commercial purposes, wọ́n kó àwọn èèyàn tó ní anything to do with each other, wọ́n kó wọn pọ̀ for ease of administration. Their own ease, not the ease of the people. They didn't give a damn about who these people are. But we won't develop a superficial, fake veneer of being civilized. But anyone, gbogbo natural resources wà náà jí lọ. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí France, natural resources gbogbo francophone. This bunch of thieves went back to their country, impoverished us, made us poor. Gbogbo àwọn social amenities tó yẹ kí government ṣe wọn lè ṣe. Why? Because our own stealing government members in cahoots with the Europeans was stealing all the resources. So ìgbà tẹ́bí pa wá ní Africa, ní Nigeria, ní West Africa, ní East Africa, bó làwọn èèyàn ń lọ. Wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí go through the Mediterranean, go North Africa, go through the Mediterranean to go ultimate destination ṣì ní England. Àwọn tó bá fi sí Italy, wọ́n máa wọ́nà àti lọ sí England. Àwọn tó dúró sí Spain, wọ́n máa wá lọ́nà àti lọ sí England, because they've bought the false narration. But these are all civilized people. But as we're all finding out now, these are all tribal people. The British tribe, maybe the English tribe or the Scottish tribe or the French tribe, we now see them for who they are. Fake people who put on a veneer of being civilized. So, addition to be fair,
and just to add quickly, sir, just one more point.
Yes, Doctor.
And the European policy in these foreign countries, up to today, the policies are still kind of divisive and causing people to find, to come to Europe.
Sure.
That many countries are destabilized because of their foreign policies.
Sure.
I mean, a case in point is Nigeria. There's something, for example, they know the situation in Nigeria, and yet they will pretend as if everything is hunky-dory in Nigeria, and they know it's not. Up to today, they're still, we know that the independence that they gave us in 1960 is fake, because they're still controlling Nigerian economy to the Fulanis. And they are still doing that in many countries. So there was no really independence. You know, there's still the hand behind the puppet master, that the puppet master with the hand in the glove. You know, so they're still controlling a lot of African. Everyone got to happen in Niger. Kick France out. You know, when they had the military coup, everybody was down from America to France, and you know, you got to encourage Bola Tinubu to go and attack Niger Republic, just because the Nigerians say that they don't want this fake democracy. You know, so you know the policies are still responsible for what's going on across the world today.
Oh, of course. Very well said, Doctor.
Yeah.
Very
Actually,
well
thank you.
said.
Thank you,
But one disagreement, a slight gentlemanly disagreement pẹ̀lú nǹkan tẹ́ sọ. Ẹni pé nǹkan lọ, wọ́n rò pé nǹkan lọ ọ́nkídọ̀rì, but ebi ń pa wọ̀nyí. Nǹkan lọ ọ́nkídọ̀rì fún àwọn. They're still stealing and cheating and lying and being dishonest.
Absolutely.
Put on a fake veneer of civilization.
Yeah.
But the people who really count are starving. But I won't go Google England.
Yes.
So all I need is kó èrè oko. All I need kó délé. Ó jẹ́ kó èrè burúkú náà lọ gbìn wọ́n kó délé wọn.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Ó dà pé Madam Bumi S24 náà wà on náà ni mo rí ọwọ́ wọn. Anything to say, ma'am? Okay. Ó dà.
Ọ̀nà wọn jìn láyé ayé àgbọ̀ngàn.
Mi ò rí wọn show
ọwọ́
face.
tèmi wà lókè tipẹ́ o.
Kí lẹ pé?
Ọwọ́ mi wà lókè.
Àmúrọ̀wọ́ yín ọmọọba Mọ́rítì.
Ọmọọba Adéwálé yẹn.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a lè gbọ́ yín o.
I was on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
À ń rójú yín, a dẹ̀ ń gbọ́ yín.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I first wanted to greet our guest speaker, although I call him Tunde, not Suleiman. So hi, Tunde. Nice for you to be on the platform. I've lived in the UK all my life, and I'm quite used to the thuggish behavior that occurred a few weeks ago, because I grew up with it. Anybody that was a child in the days of the National Front would have been used to such behavior and comments. But since that time, things have progressed in some ways, almost to the extent that people were suggesting that this country was no longer racist. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And I think what happens is that with the indigenous population, there's a lot of fear. And the fear is really, it's the fear of the ignorant and the illiterate. And they're the ones who believe that immigrants are coming to this country to take their jobs, to take their homes, to take their women, to take everything that they think belongs to them. And I don't know how common that is to other countries, but I can only really speak of England. And I think that part of that is based on the fact that if you have legal and you have so-called illegal immigration, and I really wanted to look at the practical side of it. And one of the reasons why there's a lot of unrest in UK with the British people is that there is a backlog of applications in the Home Office. And I just wondered, because of your experience, Tunde, whether you could just take us through what is a typical asylum, for instance, an asylum application, and what is the process what is it that an immigration officer, a Home Office official has to do, and what are the timescales? And do you have any idea of why there is such a large backlog in this country?
Okay, Miss Barrister Tunde Suleiman, are you available to respond?
Yeah, thank you, my learned friend, Bumi. Thank you for raising that. The backlog for applications and asylum, and it's not just asylum, it's also all the other applications. Quite a heavy backlog. I think it started with the during the COVID, and things have never been the same till now. Even some of the most of the staffs, they are amazingly still working from home, and many few days. So I think that has contributed. Even before the COVID, there's always been that backlog. There's always backlog anyway. So that ordinary applications for even when you pay, they say the priority, and it's meant to be a week or 7 days, is getting to months. Just that's the priority that you have paid the excessive amount to, resolve. So that is the major thing, and then coupled with the fact that there is always appeal process, and even the appeal backlog is even greater than the normal applications. And people will always take advantage of all the avenues that are legal avenues to pursue their claims. So how they will get on that, I think the Labour will, they have indicated that they will have to come up with I think it's some form of amnesty, that they will have to clear that the way things are is really bad. You can see how they even toyed with the idea of Rwanda deportation, and amazingly, it failed because they couldn't get around it. People were still challenging, even when you make that claim, you challenge, and obviously for lawyers, they are doing a good job to ensure that the protection of the rights of all these people, especially those who can afford it or who can get legal aid. So this is going to be a long-term phenomenon, and there are no easy solution until and unless such issue as amnesty is come up, or then they deliberately clear the backlog. But rather than that, it's also, they are not doing that now. Application that used to be that if you're an overstayer for 10 years, they push it to 12 years, 15 years. Now it's 20 years. So that again raises the issue that, people will go hiding, they will do all sorts of things to maintain, and there will be more backlog. So that has become part of us in terms of how to resolve all these claims. And they even decide to deprive some people of appeal rights, administrative review rights, just to ensure that. But then people will also still find a way to challenge that by way of judicial review and all that. And it's a system that allows it as well, that whether it's a European Human Rights Convention or the rest of it, they will still be relying on one law or the common law itself of fair trial, So I don't have answer for ultimate solution apart from the government itself, but that's what I see, that this will keep being part of us for a very long time. Yeah, I think that's what I will be able to chip in at this point. I hope I'll be able to address some of these questions.
Thank you, Barrister Suleiman. Thank you
Yes.
very much. We'll go on. I hope your questions are answered, Ms. Bumi. Okay.
Can I just come back? Oh, yeah. No, I still have another question.
Okay. There
I
are
just
other.
wanted to ask, in an ideal world, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Make it quick,
Can you
please.
hear me?
Yes,
The
we
line
can
is
hear
really
you.
We can hear
bad,
you
I
very loud
know.
and clear, but please make it
But you
quick
can
so
hear
that
me?
we can answer.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can get other people to come on. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Well, no, I was going to say, well, okay, then I'll just ask my second question instead. In relation to unaccompanied minors, how common is that for other countries, and how are unaccompanied minors being dealt with?
I think universally, unaccompanied minors are prioritized based on the convention, and their rights are always protected. Whatever they move into, they cannot be refiled. That is, they cannot be removed until they attain the age of puberty, the adulthood, 18 years. So that is, I think, is what is universally applied, not just in England, but everywhere they go, as far as it's established there, as far as the age is established, and even if it's not established by the preponderance of evidence, the benefit of it is always given to them for whatever they say, if there is no contrary evidence from what they have pretend. So if you declare yourself to be 16, when perhaps you feel that this is a grown-up, it might be 19, but you have no proof, they're still 16 for all intent and purposes, and they cannot be removed. They have to be given humanitarian protection until they attain the adulthood. And that is from the Convention of the Rights of Child and the rest of all that convention that recognize that universally. That is the simple answer that I will say in relation to that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister.
Thank you.
I think the next person will be Omoba Adewale, even though Alhaji Abbas, your hand is in front, but seems like Omoba had been up much longer. Omoba, you have the floor. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Mo kí gbogbo ilé o. Ṣé gan ni?
Ẹ káàbọ̀.
Yes, sir. Your view mi lay different a little bit to what other people have been saying, and mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn for their contributions. Though I will be limited with my view because the nature of my job or involve situation. But gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ṣàlàyé lẹ́ẹ̀kan àti Mr. Oni, yes, a lè blame wọn because àwọn náà lọ káàkiri láti colonize. So, but now the situation tó wà, especially with this country, and staring at their face with the indigenous people is unbearable, and it's at alarming rate. The issue is, tẹ́bá ó pẹ́ díẹ̀ tí mo ti wà ń lò yìí, at least over 40 years. Mo dẹ̀ ń study the situation gan kó tó ṣàdí pé mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní bá ìjọba ṣiṣẹ́ wo àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Ṣé ẹ rí ìjà tó ṣẹlẹ̀ the last 2 weeks was horrible. Nobody wanted. Completely bad. But àwọn nǹkan kan ló push wọn to that limit. Àwọn nǹkan tó push wọn màá brief ẹ̀ fún yín a little bit. I won't go deep. Ṣé ẹ rí àwọn dúdú, àwa dúdú àti wà ń lò yìí ó ti pẹ́ díẹ̀. But we didn't came with an agenda láti take over country wọn lọ́wọ́ wọn. But àwọn kan wá tó wá láti claim refugee through Islamic persecution from other places all over the places. Ó dẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bí late 80s. Now, these people, they are now boasting today pé àwọn fẹ́ take over country wọn lọ́wọ́ wọn. Wọn ò hide ẹ̀ mọ́ to the extent tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ṣe videos jáde. Ní ìdẹ̀rù pé ènìyàn kankan wà nínú wa tó fẹ́ kán gbàlú wa lọ́wọ́ wa. Àwa à ń jà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá pé a fẹ́ kí Fúlàní kán lé wa. Whereas nǹkan tó fèsì àwọn nìyẹn as at now. Tó jẹ́ ká ní opportunity wa ní màá ṣẹ̀dí ní fídíò bíi mélòó kan. Àwọn yẹn dẹ̀ ń rí, wọ́n ń gbọ́ nǹkan tó ń sọ pé definitely àwọn máa Islamize Britain. Tó bá dẹ̀ Islamize ẹ̀ tán, they go into Europe. And these are the Islamic fanatics. Tí wọ́n dẹ̀ hide ẹ̀. So èmi ò rò pé anybody máa accept. Ó dẹ̀ ti dé stage gan tó jẹ́ pé àwọn gan fẹ́ give up. But wọ́n wá the opportunity sí pé okay, kí la lè ṣe láti fight back? Pé this is our country, this country is a Christian country. Ṣé ẹ tó bá fẹ́ gbé bíbá ẹ̀ ṣó lè respect culture wa? Ṣó lè fún wa ní àwọn citizen indigenous who respect nǹkan, the way of their life? Or kán wá impose ẹ̀ lé wọn lórí? Ẹ má bínú sà, àwọn area kan wà ní UK nsìn tó jẹ́ pé táwọn Islamics yẹn tán occupy tó jẹ́ pé ẹ lè lọ bẹ̀ freely mọ́, even àwọn òyìnbó fúnra ara wọn. So ó dẹ̀ ti ń pọ̀ jù. Wọ́n ń boast pé gbogbo churches wọ́n ti rà á tán pé because wọ́n wá sí ibi tó ń wá. The same complaint tẹ́ give pé wọ́n persecute ní ibi tẹ́ ti ń bọ̀. The same kìíní ẹ wá fẹ́ impose ẹ̀ lé àwọn onílùú lórí. Èmi rò pé ó kù díẹ̀ káàtó. Nǹkan táwọn yẹn tí mo dẹ̀ believe pé wọ́n jà fún nìyẹn because I had interaction with few people tó jẹ́ pé àjọ wà ń bí iṣẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n tolerate ẹ̀ mọ́ pé this is becoming too much. Níbo làwọn fẹ́ lọ? Ta làwọn fẹ́ lọ bá? Ìlú wọ́n ti take over. So ó jẹ́ nǹkan tèmi observe pé is the background nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan. So wọ́n ti ó dàbí pé wọ́n ti breed up pé okay, tí opportunity bá wá kí làwọn máa ṣe. But wọ́n wá ṣe with control and fences. Instead tó fi ń jà tó fi gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ló yẹ kó bá sọ̀rọ̀ pé okay, how do we go from where we are now to where we want to be? But ìjà tó ń jà kò sẹ́ni tó ní ìdẹ̀bọ̀. Èmi believe pé nǹkan tó kọ̀ sí ìjà tó ń jà ò ní pé wọ́n fẹ́ take over ìlú lọ́wọ́ wọn. Wọn dey hide there. They are saying it out and proudly. Ẹ ṣe gbogbo ilé.
Ẹ ṣé gan. Thank you very much, Omoba. Very well said. Barrister Suleiman, are there comments you want to make? If you're still there. Okay, mi rò pé Barrister wà ń bẹ̀. Okay. One statement tell me come and add more ni pé kí n tó pass on sí Alhaji Abbas ni pé àwọn kì í máa ń take wà mí gbọ́dọ̀ sọ pé gbogbo wa bí ọmọlúwàbí ò gbọ́dọ̀ lọ take over ìlú onílùú. Mi ò rò pé máa rí Yorùbá ń bì kankan tó máa take over ìlú onílùú. Gbogbo àwọn Yorùbá tá a rí ní Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, àwọn tó wá láti Ìjìgbò lọ sí Cote d'Ivoire, gbogbo àwọn tó tá a rí ní Togo ní Benin Republic, ní Ghana, mi ò rò pé any one of them ló pa àwọn fẹ́ take over ìlú. The only one bẹ́ẹ̀ ti sọ ọmọọba tó máa ń take over ìlú anywhere tó ń lọ náà ni àwọn people with Abrahamic religion. More so irú àwọn Islamic fundamentalists ẹ mention here. They have a propensity to do that. Òun náà ni àwọn Fúlàní, àwọn yẹn náà ni àwọn Fúlàní wá ń copy, tán rò pé àwọn náà lè lọ dé anywhere káwọn displace everybody káwọn kan gba ìlú.
That is
So in such a case, the tribes in England, in the UK, have all the right to put up a fierce battle against intruders. No one has that right. Now, we can call the Britishers a tribal people. Shubon, they also do have rights to maintain their autonomy.
Yes.
And so I say that to agree with what you said. In the absence of Barrister Suleiman, so Alhaji Abbas, I think you are next, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. And please, I want people to understand where I'm coming from, because I, for one, maybe based on my experience and travel, I look at things in a realistic way. Now, what's happening in Europe, I'm not excusing it and I'm not justifying it, but it is understandable. And it's a nature of human being. It has nothing to do with Europe or anywhere. It's a nature of human being. If your territorial ownership or control is being threatened, people will react. And look at what the xenophobic attack is happening in South Africa. In Nigeria, we have Ghana must go. Now we say Igbo must go. So it's the nature of human being. And now they mentioned about Islamic taking over. Now in Europe, there's some area you go, you see population of Indian and Pakistanis. They have neutralized the people who the original people in the land. And worldwide, population is shifting. Population is shifting. If you go to Canada today, there's a large population of Nigerians or Africans or immigrants there. Okay, so Europe is being now, yeah, they are becoming minority in their own country. And they look at, hey, maybe 10 years down the line, they will become minority in their own land. And eventually, they may lose control of what they have. So, again, I see this as a nature of human being. Anybody that feels threatened by what you call your home, yeah, you will react. See what's happening in Palestine. Yeah, the Jews, they came from Europe, and now they practically want to eliminate the people and take over. So when people feel threatened, it's a natural thing to want to defend what you have. So it's not a religious thing. It's just a human nature. Mm-hmm. So we have to look at the big picture, and it happens everywhere in the world. In USA, if you go to California, the Asian population is taking over. They will be the majority. California is the biggest state. So things are changing. People are moving around. If they relax the immigration rule, all Nigerians, everybody in Nigeria will move to Europe. If everybody, like millions of us, move to there, what do you think is going to happen? So let's look at things realistically and put yourself in people's shoes. Maybe you will understand why what is happening is happening. Again, I'm not justifying it. I'm not excusing it, but I'm just being realistic of what is happening in the world. Thank you.
Eshegun Alhaji, thank you very much. In the absence of Barrister Suleiman, mo rí pé Ọ̀túnba tún ti padà dé. Welcome, my dear Ọ̀túnba. Share any comment lórí? Do you have anything to say in response to what Alhaji said?
Alhaji Abbas, I don't understand.
Gbọ́ yín dáadáa o.
Okay, just a minute.
Gbọ́ yín sẹ́.
Gbọ́ yín o.
Èsì ń kọjá tí ń gbọ́n sí yìí.
Ẹ súnmọ́ micro yẹn, ẹ súnmọ́ microphone dáadáa, Alhaji Oseni. Ẹ súnmọ́.
Ó dàbí pé mo sọ àwọn èèyàn lé ní. Ìjẹ̀bú-Dábúlé náà ń lò kó tiẹ̀ yé mi o.
I think I think gbọ́yìn dáadáa nísìn. Yes, it was like you are talking from millions of miles away before.
nísìnyí wọ́n ti ń lo Ìjẹ̀bú microphone so a lè gbọ́ wọn dáadáa ń sìn.
Ẹ ṣe rí gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí dá. I want to chip into what Alhaji Abbas said. Yes, the issue of wípé pé àṣebá invite yín ni ìgbà tí wọ́n capitulate Japan tán capitulate Germany many years back tí wọ́n ní láti restructure, I mean láti rebuild ìlú wọn. They turned to other European countries, especially the Turkish and the Italians. So they came and then and in the process, one busy, one racing. Yes, it is true that our innate, our original Germans and they're now becoming, they're feeling threatened. But you see, the modern way of resolving that problem is the laws, rules and regulations. If you're looking at the rates, àwọn ìlú òyìnbó wọn tí máa fi ń change laws wọn àti rules wọn when it comes to immigration is more frequent than any other thing. And again, there's no exemption. It's all over the place. Kìíní ò rí nǹkan tó lè fi tackle Democrats nísìn immigration ni àwọn 1 million ló wọlé every hour gbogbo àwọn ẹjọ́ yẹn. Whereas àwọn immigrant tó ń wọlé wọ̀nyí, they coming to do the job which an average tó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ homeless gangan tó jẹ́ American homeless person tí ò lè ṣe. Àwọn tó ń bọ̀ láti Mexico àti Kenya náà bọ̀ ṣe the same thing here. So it's a case of wípé we need to understand where some of these àwọn far left of whatever where they're coming from. But still we cannot at the same time say that they should whatever they are doing, we should be afraid of. They want to get rid of us because it's about in the process at integrate ara so much. Francophone, African speaking French, possible. English speaking people in England, possible. So yes, so I think the immigrants also may be a problem for themselves. A typical example of what I'm trying to make is if they don't have a base, if they don't have a voice, they can the far right, the terrorists among the inmates, they can take advantage of that. Yeah, as you can see, in the UK, there are judges that are Indian origins. They've acquired, they have been to many levels. You cannot just wake overnight. And the good thing is the government of the country is doing a fantastic job, whether on machine or machine, they are not in support of what is happening. And that is a grace from foreigners in the way. So I want to appreciate that. Alagba Barrister Suleiman, I'm sure he's still there or is not there. Maybe. Thank you very much, Alagba B.
Okay, Eshegun, thank you for your comment.
Yes.
Ó kò toss off between Baba Adébóyè àti Baba Bankole o.
Yes.
Baba Adébóyè ṣé ọwọ́ àná nìyẹn tàbí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ náwó?
Ọwọ́ òní ni ṣùgbọ́n bàbá Bankole ṣáájú mi.
Okay, nǹkan ṣẹ́rí zoom ó máa ń ṣe ó mọ̀ kó gbọ̀ngàn lẹ́tí wa ó wá mọ̀ gbóyìn síwájú wọn. Òjòrò ni Baba Bankole.
No, arrange alphabetically ni so Baba A come first.
I see. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ní gbọ̀ngàn B ló máa ń wá before A now. B.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o.
Gbọ̀ngàn before Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́.
1 + 1 is 11.
Now you're talking. Baba Bankole, ẹ mute ara yín Baba Bankole àgọ́ yín.
Ẹ wà right, 110 + 1 is 11.
Yes.
That's right.
Mo ní Zoom àgbàlẹ́gbọ̀n ló ṣe gbé fún bàbá.
Okay.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bàbá lágbà. Bàbá ẹ ṣeun gan tẹ́ fún mi láyè ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́. Iṣẹ́ rí gbogbo mo farabalẹ̀ gbogbo ohun táwọn èèyàn ń sọ inú mi dẹ̀ dùn. Tá a bá rò lóòótọ́ wọ́n nítorí wèrè a ṣe ní wèrè ilé. Ṣẹ́ra àwọn tó ń jà káàkiri yẹn èmi á pè wọ́n ní wèrè ilé. Àwọn náà bring the kidney to the forefront. Ṣé rí ohun tá a ti ń rí lórí fídíò látẹ̀yìnwá bí ọdún 4-5 láti Europe ó ń jẹ́ kó ṣìyàn ní ṣe kàyéfì ni pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣé dandan ni ká gbàlejò kálejò dẹ̀ wá di onílé tó di pé òun gan ló máa léèyàn nílé torí mo rí àwọn fídíò kan ní UK mi ì mọ ìlú tí í ṣe torí mi ò gbé UK mi ò tiẹ̀ sùn ọjọ́ kan bẹ̀ lẹ́yìn pé mo ń transit ń bẹ̀ so kò jẹ́ kí n mọ àwọn ìlú yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ mo rí fídíò níbi tán ti ń sọ pé àwọn ọmọbìnrin òyìnbó wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rìn láì borí I mean àlejò dẹ̀ ní gbogbo àwọn tó ń sọ irú ọ̀rọ̀ báwọn yìí lóríṣiríṣi and kì í ṣe UK nìkan tẹ́ bá wo àwọn European countries gan àwọn ibì kan wà tá a ti sọ pé ó ti tó gẹ́ àti ẹ̀fẹ́ yín mọ́ ń bì ṣé báwọn ló gbà wọ́n wá láyé nígbà tí nǹkan tíjà bẹ̀rẹ̀ nílùú wọn àwọn ló sọ pé kán máa bọ̀ irú àṣejù wo náà wá ṣe débi pé ó fi ń di pé ó tó gẹ́ ẹ máa lọ a ò fẹ́ yín mú tẹ́ bá wo Australia náà ní bí ọdún 3 sẹ́yìn Prime Minister wọn gbà láti máa sọ fún wọn pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ní bọ̀wọ̀ fún òfin wa ẹ máa padà lọ sílùú yín a ò fẹ́ yín mi ò bóyá anybody rántí lórí panel yìí gbà tí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn kí ló fà á tó jẹ́ pé ńgbà bá gbàyàn lálejò sílùú òun náà ló tún máa wọ́nà bí ìlú ṣe máa dàrú mọ́yàn lórí irú àlejò wo nìyẹn tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ wo àwọn tá à ń sọ yìí ibi tán ti wá àwọn ìlú wọn ò gba refugee kan rí particularly Saudi Arabia wọn ń gba refugee ẹ wá dúró ilé tó wà ní Saudi Arabia tán lè fi fún refugee irọ́ wọn ò ní fún wọn kí ló wá fàtó àwọn ló dẹ̀ ń sponsor àwọn tó ń ṣe gbogbo ìṣekúṣe tó ń ṣe overseas káàkiri níbi tí ọwọ́jà wọn tó torí owó wọn tán ní lọ́wọ́ so gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Europe òun ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ tiwa náà gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ bàbá Oyèfúlẹ̀ kò sí Yorùbá tó máa lọ sílùú kan tó máa sọ pé òun ti wá jọba níbí o pé ọmọ onílẹ̀ ló pé ọwọ́ àwọn tó wà nílẹ̀ tí ò ní júbà ẹni tó bá ń bẹ̀ no kò sí bí Yorùbá ṣe máa pẹ́ tó ó sì máa júbà àwọn tó bá ń bẹ̀ ẹ wá Ivory Coast gbogbo West Atlantic West African coast wọ̀nyẹn àwọn Yorùbá ló kún bẹ́ẹ̀ Èjìgbò Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀ bá wọ̀nyẹn wọn àdébẹ̀ kan bá bẹ̀ jẹ́ rí ìgbà táwọn Ìgbò ń lọ síbẹ̀ ẹ má sọ pé mo ń sọ̀rọ̀ Ìgbò mọ́ ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ foríjì mi ìgbà táwọn Ìgbò ń lọ síbẹ̀ ni wàhálà bẹ̀rẹ̀ ló ní pé no wọ́n wá ń kó drọ́ọ̀gì fún ọmọ wa ni wọ́n ń kọ́ ọmọ wa láti ṣaṣẹ́ wọ́n ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ irú èyí báyìí Ghana náà bí mi sí náà wọn ò lé wa ń lékúlé ńgbà yẹn náà bẹ̀ẹ̀ nígbà tó bá di pé èèyàn àgbàlejò sílé kálejò wa fẹ́ di pé yà òní ò máa léèyàn kúrò pé ilé bàbá òní bíi àbí pé adijọ́ ni bíi ni no kì í jẹ́ kó jẹ́ tọmọ kó má làálàá ní UK ń bẹ̀ ẹ́ ń sìn máa nǹkan wá ń bẹ̀ I think his Chadri or something mi ìrántí orúkọ ẹ̀ mọ́ tó máa ń ṣe this outrageous YouTube tó máa ń gbé jáde ńgbà yẹn pé àwọn máa fi ọbaabìnrin UK àwọn máa lé kúrò.
alápá kan àbí ó ní apá kan apá àárín kan.
ó láìpẹ́ yá pé ọbaabìnrin yẹn wọ́n máa lé kúrò ilé ẹ̀ wọ́n máa fi ṣe mọ́ṣáláṣí oríṣiríṣi nǹkan báwọn yẹn wọ́n dẹ̀ mí ni ẹni kì í ṣe pé ó ń sọ torí gbogbo ìgbà náà ń lé àwọn ọmọbìnrin pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ dádúgbò wọn mọ́ táwọn wọ store káàkiri wọ́n ń ṣe yẹn kò sígbà tí ìlú yẹn ò ní boil over gbogbo Europe náà ti ń lé wọn ń sìn láti sọ pé àwọn ò fẹ́ wọn mọ́ gbogbo àwọn Finnish countries gbogbo wọn yẹn láti ń lé wọn láti sọ pé àwọn ò fẹ́ wọn mọ́ kí ló fẹ́ kí la fẹ́ bá débi ìyẹn kí ni tó fẹ́ gain àwọn èèyàn pè yín wá pé kẹ́ ẹ wá jẹ ẹ wá mú wọn lọ́wọ́ dúró èmi rò pé gbogbo ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí kò sígbà tí ò ní ṣẹlẹ̀ kọ́lọ́n jẹ́ kó yẹ pé àwọn tó wá ń díẹ̀ kan ní ọgbọ́n tó máa dá sí láti má jẹ́ kó ju bó ṣe lọ ni ẹ ṣe pọ̀.
ẹ ṣe gan-an alàgbà Bánkọ́lé ìgbà tí ẹ sọ pé other countries ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ fún wọn comes to mind pé Germany just a couple of weeks ago ó ti ń demolish àwọn mosque wọn tó ń kọ́ sí inappropriate places so apparently England nìkan kọ́ ló wà tired of them other European countries also are just like you said. Ọ̀túnba ǹjẹ́ ní any comment láti make or if not so máa hand over fún bàbá Adébóyè.
I think we are all still saying the same thing. The only thing your confederate is we shouldn't bring emotion into it. Kamaro Ikiboya Bushin Shelodowa to realize first back. This is not personal. The point, the issue here is immigration, migration is a national, is a universal thing. Nobody is a thing you can't change it. It will always be like that. And the only thing àwọn ìlú onílùú tí ìlú oníkálukú ń ṣe ni pé kán regulate through via laws, regulations and rules and so on and so forth. Yes, typical of UK, for example, ìgbà kan hàn fi deadline pé bóyá how many years tó bá ti regulate ìwé ẹ̀ tó ti gba indefinite tó wá la graduate wá lọ di citizen tí ò bá jẹ́ pé èèyàn kúkú fàdíyà tó tàbí ó ṣe nǹkan kan táàrí ìwé ẹ̀rí you can stay as long as you want yóò ti lílù ẹ̀ ti dára wọn ni I've been around 54 years so èèyàn ti dé ẹlòmíì ti dẹ̀ débi kínní àwọn tó wà dé late ní the last 10 years nísìn irú ìjẹ́ pé within a period of time ẹ máa di citizen ẹ̀ láti fall so from gẹ́gẹ́ bí guest speaker wa ṣe sọ 10 years nísìn ọ̀yẹ̀ tí wàá ti fẹ́ sọ di 20 ìgbà tó wáyé sọ ẹ̀ máa sọ pé láti pé 100 years tó bá lo 100 years àwọn ò lè sọ ẹ́ di citizen so because the way to change these dynamics not through ìjà not through anything immigration it will continue to be we cannot no country can totally eradicate it so that's what I just want to add to it.
Thank you, Otumba. Prof.
Tí mo ní nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ share either wisdom or ignorance or stupidity but mo need ó wà lọ́wọ́ mi ó wà níbí tẹ́ bá fún mi ní ìṣẹ́jú bíi 5.
Okay, you have it, sir.
Number 1, ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ nígbà tí mo wà ní primary 4 àbí nǹkan 1954 ṣá so ó ti di 70 years báyìí. Tíṣà kan wà ọmọ Ìjàrẹ́ tó kọ́ mi ní standard 4 orúkọ rẹ̀ ń jẹ́ Ilésànmí Òjó. Mi ò lè gbàgbé rẹ̀ láéláé kódà mo fi orúkọ rẹ̀ sọ ọ̀kan nínú àwọn ọmọ mi Ilésànmí. Kí ni Òjó kọ́ mi? Òjó ló kọ́ wa nípa slave trade láti Arab slave trade tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ right after ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ massively ó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀ tipẹ́ ọ̀bọ̀ tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ massively with the evangelization, the military evangelization of Islam in the 800s. Ó wá tó di 1,000 years later or roughly 700, 800 years later káwọn òyìnbó Europe tó dé. But ẹ jẹ́ ká ti bi pẹlẹbẹ mọ́ọ̀lẹ̀ jẹ́ kó lè bá a dùn nítorí pé ọ̀rọ̀ immigration là ń sọ. Ọ̀rọ̀ kẹ́nìkan ó ti ilẹ̀ rẹ̀ kúrò ńbẹ̀ kó lọ sí ilẹ̀ lòmíì òun là ń sọ. Tẹ́ ẹ bá ka ìwé Genesis ẹ rí ibi tọ́lọ́run ti pé Abraham pé kó múra òun ó rán lọ síbi kan tí tó ń pè nílẹ̀ ìní. Láti Babylon láti ló ti rán Abraham àtàwọn èèyàn rẹ̀ lọ síbi tá à ń pè ní Palestine lónìí. Wọ́n débẹ̀ wọ́n ja ogun àwọn tí wọ́n bá ń bẹ̀ wọ́n bá àwọn tó bá ń bẹ̀ jagun wọ́n gbalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ wọn. Ẹ máa gbọ́ mi o mo ṣe sọ pé nǹkan tí mò ń sọ is either foolish or wise or whatever èyí lè máa make a decision yẹn. Wọ́n gbalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ wọn tẹ́ ẹ bá ṣí Bíbélì wò ẹ rí ibi tí wọ́n ti ń bá àwọn èèyàn jà the wall of Jericho fall. Kódà Ọlọ́run ni ó jẹ́ kọ́wọ́ ba ọ̀gá wa bí ìyòyè fulẹ̀ torí àwọn Perusites and Shagamites and Jebusites gbogbo wọn ni wọ́n bá jà.
ìgbà ẹni Jébúsà wá di Jerusalem àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́.
Ká mọ́ bá bọ̀ but jokes aside ìyẹn fi hàn pé ká kórun nílùú wa opportunity ò ti tó ká wọ́ opportunity lọ sílẹ̀ ibòmíì àwọn tá a bá ń bẹ̀ ká wá fáwọn lórí kó wá fọ̀dàkùn ó ní Alhaji Abbas sọ pé it's human nature pé ká máa rìn káàkiri ká máa ṣe gbá ká máa ṣe òun làgbá mo kí Alhaji Abbas lẹ́yìn pẹ̀lú ìyẹn. Then with the evangelization of Islam, the war of religion broke out in the 11th, 12th century and lasted. Indeed, by the 700 AD, Arabs and Moors had taken over southern Europe. They crossed the Strait of Gibraltar. Kì í ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ nìkan wọ́n gbàdé bẹ́ẹ̀ o. The same path, the St. Paul missionary journey gbé from Antioch of Syria to Pisidia to Rome. Wọ́n gbé gbogbo bẹ̀yẹn náà wọ́n wọ other parts of nǹkan tá à ń pè ní Europe nísìnyí. Kí ni wọ́n wá ń bẹ̀? Arab evangelism, Arab governance was in charge of Europe, at least big portions of Europe for a long time. Èyí tó wà most prominent is Spain. Ẹ rí àwọn ìlú even the capital of Spain today, Madrid, is a corrupt form of masjid, which means mosque. Ìwé tí mo mú lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ lè yẹ̀wò tẹ́ bá lè bá mi focus ẹ̀ God's Crucible was written by a scholar, David Levin Lewis, tó detail nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Europe with Arab evangelism. But kò ṣe evangelism nìkan bí wọ́n ṣe ń bọ́ bẹ̀ ni wọ́n kó àwọn èrò wọn bọ́ bẹ̀ Arabs and Moors kó tó wá di 1400. 1400 yẹn ní àwọn with Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand tí wọ́n gbara wọn lẹ̀ ibẹ̀ làwọn náà sọ pé well a ti ṣerú àwọn Arabi for 700 years láyé àwọn ò ṣe mọ́ àwọn gan làwọn wẹ̀rú lọ níbo lẹ ti ráwọn dúdú tẹ kó wá bí yìí ibẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí wá sí West Africa. ṣé ń gbọ́ mi sir àti mass eléyìí ò sọ pé mo wà religious àbí mo wà irreligious so it's just to underscore pé àwọn èèyàn ò ní jókòó jẹ́ opportunity tí wọ́n bá níbi tí wọ́n jókòó sí tí ó bá wà aggressive láàrin wọn àwọn opportunity lọ sílẹ̀ ibòmíì ẹ tó bá dẹ̀ bá ń bẹ̀ ó lè ṣe ojú mímì fún wọn gbà díẹ̀ o but tọwọ́ rẹ̀ ló fẹ́ gbà. Now ìyẹn ti ṣẹlẹ̀ ká má ṣètò wá dé ọ̀dọ̀ wa but ibi tí wọ́n ti ń ṣe discovery expansion and empire ìwé tí mo fẹ́ fi hàn lórí mi ò tiẹ̀ ní fi hàn modern geography was written by Priest and Wood. It was one of the series of geography books tá a lò ní high school 1960 1958 59 anyway nítorí ọjọ́ 19 ibẹ̀ ni mo ti mọ̀ nípa Australia, New Zealand, Canada and so on and so forth. Ara expansion tó ṣẹlẹ̀ from Europeans ṣe láyé àwọn ògbárò ẹ̀ máa àwọn náà wálé onílẹ̀ lọ wọ́n á dẹ̀ gbà tọwọ́ wọn. So kí ló wá yàtọ̀? Kì í ṣe pé yàtọ̀ wà tó pọ̀ jù pé tá a bá rálejò ká dá àlejò mọ̀ yàtọ̀ sí onílé. In Australia, gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó ń gbé island kan tó ń pè ní Tasmania wọ́n ti pa wọ́n rẹ́ títí bá a ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Kò sí Tasmania kankan láyé mọ́. You go to New Zealand from Auckland to Christchurch and all of that stuff. Àwọn Maoris tó wà ń bẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ they have been reduced to a handful. In the main part of Australia, from Adelaide to York, from Perth to Sydney, wọ́n ti sọ wọ́n di rìbárìbó. Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi? àwọn Gẹ̀ẹ́sì wàá jókòó ẹ wá rò pé àwọn ò ní ronú nǹkan tí wọ́n ti ṣe sáwọn ẹlòmíì. You go to India, what is called British India, 500 years kí Gẹ̀ẹ́sì fi jẹ gàba lé wọn lórí tí ó tó bà gbogbo nǹkan wọn jẹ́ tó bà economy wọn jẹ́ tó fi tiẹ̀ kún. But àwọn Indians náà tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ gan-an níbo wọn ti wá. They came from over the Himalayas mountain to dominate àwọn èèyàn tó bá ń bẹ̀, the Dravidians. Àwọn èèyàn tó bá ń bẹ̀ wọ́n dúdú jù mí lọ. Wọ́n ti sọ wọ́n dolórí búkú nìsín. Tẹ́ ẹ bá lọ sí India lónìí, tẹ́ ẹ bá yà sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ilé kan ẹ rí ibi tó òyìnbó ti ń tọ̀ sí Dravidian lára as part of their religious cultural right. Bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi? Okay. Yẹn panu mi mọ́ ń bẹ̀ yẹn kí n wá sọ pé Yorùbá, who are we? Yoruba is completely defined by Ifa. No matter how many Bible, Quran, and everything I read, when I want to see Yoruba, where do I see Yoruba? Ifa. Ifa ló sọ pé ká fa àlejò mọ́ra. Kò wá sọ pé ká fa àlejò mọ́ra ká dolórí burúkú o. Gbogbo nǹkan la ṣe níwọ̀ntúnwọ̀nsì. Torí ọmọlúàbí ni ọmọ tí olúìwà bí. What's the responsibility of ọmọlúàbí? Ọmọlúàbí believes or should believe, even if he doesn't articulate it, that the purpose of life is living. The purpose of life is living. Living by who? Not by yourself alone, but by promoting living by others. That's the purpose of life. But kì í fani tẹ́ka fani tán ya. Kì í bá ní tẹ́ka fani ní tán ya. So ẹ̀kọ́ wo là ń kọ́ lórí eléyìí? Ẹ̀kọ́ tẹ́mi rò pé ó yẹ ká kọ́ lórí eléyìí ni pé kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ pé àwọn èèyàn ní máa jáde láti lọ gba nǹkan lọ́wọ́ ẹlòmíì. Kò sẹ́ni tó mọjọ́ sí yẹn ó dúró bó bá dúró láéláé. Ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n lè gbìyànjú rẹ̀ kí wọ́n má rí ṣe. Wọ́n lè gbìyànjú rẹ̀ kí wọ́n má ráàyè. Kí ni responsibility Yorùbá? Whose responsibility, fundamental philosophy, is to support life in a decent fashion, which includes his own life. Òun ni wọ́n ṣe ń kọrin báyìí ní gbọ̀ngàn in the 1950s. Ẹni tó pọ̀ òun ọgbà lọ wa mọ̀rẹ́mí tètè pa ọjọ́ ń lọ o. Principally, ibi tí mò ń bá lọ ni pé we want to promote life. Life is sacred. But life that is sacred includes mine and yours and everybody. How do we manage that competition that have dated back to the first book of Moses called Genesis, chapter 8? Ibi tí mo rò pé abáde nìyẹn. Báwo la ṣe máa mọ́lẹ́jì ẹ̀? Ọ̀túnba Òsénì àti àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi àbúrò mi tó wà ní England àtàwọn tó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà ngá àtìgbà àtàwo, kí ni responsibility wa? To promote life, especially the life that we came out of. A gbọ́dọ̀ lọ bá àwọn èèyàn wa nílé, a gbọ́dọ̀ pèsè àyè sílẹ̀ fún wọn tí wọn ò fi ní jẹ́ easy plucking by anybody coming from outside. Kì í ṣe pé à ń lé àwọn tó ń bọ̀ dandan bíi pé àwọn tí wọ́n bá ń bẹ̀ wọ́n rí jẹ yàtọ̀ sí pákó. Pé àǹfààní táwa nígbà tá a bọ́ ọ̀ta, kí ni àǹfààní yẹn sórí wa ló máa parẹ́ sí? No! A gbọ́dọ̀ wá ọ̀nà tá a fi máa kó èrè oko délé. Bí ṣe la lọ dálẹ̀ fáwọn tí ò kúrò ń bẹ̀ ni, bí ààyè láàfilẹ̀ tí ó gbà wọ́n ni, gbígbà all kinds of things. If we are really Yoruba as opposed to bastards, we must find a way tó fi jẹ́ pé lílọ wa is not a selfish activity. Kó kàwé 6 kí ààrẹ ó forí ràárù kó jáde ìwé kó ṣe gbá. Níjọba ti jáde ìwé báyìí tí wọ́n ti ṣẹ́ ti wà ní England tó lè ṣe kó wá jápa kó dẹ̀ gbàgbé ilé. I mean, it's not Yoruba. It's what individuals do, and nobody's taking them to court for it. But we must go back, see, a gbọ́dọ̀ padà sílé ọkọ àárọ̀ and reveal who we are, because maybe who we are has a big lesson for the rest of the world. Even the religion that they follow is based upon the culture. If our own religion and our own culture show how to promote genuinely to work for the survival and continuance of human people with dignity. But ilé láti kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ o.
Ẹ ṣé gan, Prof. Thank you very, very much. One can only do one thing. You're absolutely correct. There are so many complex issues involved in migration, immigration, emigration, back and forth of people. And the forces to impel to move out of their land into another person's land is very strong. And eléyìí tó dẹ̀ ní pé kí èèyàn tún kó èrè oko délé, kó tún kó padà wá sílé tó ti kúrò láàárọ̀, is also a very strong impulse. And those are things that are worth thinking about, reflecting on. And we are a very reflective people. Our Yoruba nìyẹn, mi sọ other ẹ̀yà o, but Yoruba wà reflective gan. Ẹ ṣé gan, thank you very much. Ọ̀túnba Oseni, iṣẹ́ ti dé láti Ìjẹ̀bú. Any comments, sir?
Láti ẹ̀yà gbọ̀ngàn.
Wọ́n ya gbọ̀ngàn lọ́nà. Ẹ má bínú, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ má bínú kẹ́ tó sọ̀rọ̀. Bàbá Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, bàbá Bánkọ́lé kọ́ ní pé Ghana náà ti bí àwọn.
Á dà fún yín, ẹ̀yin ẹlẹ́rìí o, ẹ má tẹ̀lé wọn.
Ẹ tẹ̀lé mi dé lọ́ọ̀rí.
Now we know.
Àmọ́ báwo Bánkọ́lé lọ sí Ghana láìpẹ́.
Now we know what is happening ní area Ìjẹ̀bú mọ́.
Ẹ̀yin àti Ìjẹ̀bú gan pàápàá. Ó dà kó máa wá Ìjẹ̀bú, a máa wá anyway.
I want to appreciate everybody. I want to thank Barrister Lawyer Sulaiman. I want to thank him very much for coming. I think all have been said about immigration, migration, and causes of it. I think we jointly and severally discussed it. Yeah, it's a wider area of part of governance. Like I said in my introduction, it's the people that want to correct immigration, they either doing it to suit their purpose at a certain time, but it's not something like Papa Adebo now just said. You cannot. Baba ti ẹgbà Yorùbá ni táwọn àgbà Igbo ni kò sí ìlú kankan, kò sí the one only country tí mo mọ̀ tó jẹ́ pé 100% of everything ni wọ́n ní, òun ni Somalia, pẹ̀lú ẹni mo sọ pé àyèmọ Egyptian wà láàrin wọn bẹ̀ tàbí tí ó fẹ́ ọmọ Sudan tàbí nǹkan. So it is the only way to address problem of migration here and there is by the country's rules, laws and regulations. You know, àyèmọ oríṣiríṣi schemes ni wọ́n ti gbé wá nígbà táwa yìí ti dé, and problem tí most of them àwọn immigrant tó wá láti Africa dẹ̀ tún ẹ̀mí ní pẹ́ dé nǹkan máa lọ́dún méjì bẹ́ẹ̀ sí lọ́dún méjì. Mo mọ àwọn èèyàn lamẹ́ríkà tó yẹ pé wọ́n ṣáájú wa dé, so tán dẹ̀ ṣì wá ń bí, but the good thing ni pé.
Ẹ má bù wá o.
Èmi náà gan mo ti ẹ̀ ń rò ó pé ṣé bàbá Adébóyè kan náà ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn.
Èmi ni.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ti sí ẹ̀yin tí ibi tí à ń gbé eléyìí nǹkan ọ̀dùnnú ni ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fi number of years ṣe é sìn, àwọn tó wá láti Somalia mi tàbí tó wá láti Sudan wọ́n ti wà around, kì í ṣe ìbú, wọ́n kàn ti settle down náà ní nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ti sí àwọn onílùú gangan, they are happy to count them tó wá ti fún wọn ní citizenship. They are happy, most of them were not in dry up. Italy, àwọn ìlú kan tiẹ̀ ti wà ní Europe sí á ní ẹ bá ti kọ́ dé ìyàwó méjì lẹ́lẹ́ máa kọ́kọ́ fẹ́, àwọn àdẹ̀kọ́ fún yín ní 50,000 euros kan pé kẹsẹ̀ kan fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ láì káwọn tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí bèrè sí
Ọ̀túnba.
ṣẹ́mọ̀.
mo rírú ẹ̀ ní Zurich o.
No, àwọn ìjẹ̀bú máa nǹkan ti fẹ́. Sherry, so on a more serious note, issue of migration, there's more politics in it than anything else. And let's face it, the trouble bringers to the one in UK, most of them are just unemployed. Most of them are not even employable. And like I said, most of them, foreigners they cannot do it. Wọ́n fẹ́ gbá inú bọ́ọ̀sì ni wọ́n fẹ́ gbá tírèènì ni wọ́n fẹ́ wa tírèènì wọ́n fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ inú igbó inú oko kankan. Most of them they are just not available because most of them apart from nǹkan gba regular support and benefits. So àwọn iṣẹ́ wọ̀nyí ò attract wọn. So but then that they are now crying pé they want their country back. Tó máa gba country wọn back ní wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe, they are not still not good. Only feel àwọn positions tí àwọn foreigners tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe, they are not going to do it. So let's face it. But it is easy for them to want to stoke unnecessary keywords. But the good thing, like I said, if you want to look at it from the angle of it, governments of all countries, they have a way of managing this kind of crisis. The UK government shows clearly they're on top of it. They have said it, and they have operated like Alagba Walioni said. The government is on top of this. So in Tobamu, country will never take back. They deal with them, they send them to jail, they do a lot of things to deter, fish or whatever. Now, I want to round up by àwọn tí wọ́n wá tí wọ́n rò pé àwọn fẹ́ gba ìlú àwọn, especially káwọn Sikh tàbí àwọn Hindus kan láwọn fẹ́ tàbí àwọn Muslim kan láwọn fẹ́ convert, especially the area where I live. They want to use the area where I live, for example, as a model for Sharia. And I laugh wípé ẹ fẹ́ fi area ibì kan ní London tàbí UK ẹ fẹ́ fi Sharia ṣé bí ìjọ Calcutta ni àbójọ Calcutta gangan ẹ̀ ṣe Sharia gan náà lọ títí sẹ́wọ̀n wá bí. So but you see, it's just a case of wípé wọ́n ti yó tán wọ́n wá bẹ́kùnbẹ́kùn yìí ni wọ́n ti dùn wọ́n ti integrate wọn gan. And also a good example is from Alagba Bankole, that this guy, and this is a guy who kò ló ń lò ọwọ́ kan ẹ̀ ní òrògùn ìmọ̀pọ̀ ti gé ní ìlú kan ló ti wá ìlú Alagba bíi àwọn tó ń lé gbogbo wọn kó yẹn Afghanistan. So wọ́n wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tó yẹ pé ohun tó lè ṣe ní Afghanistan tòótọ́ tó bá dé wọ́n á fẹ́ ṣe nílùú. So all this again ẹ rí pé the best way láti regulate gbogbo nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn òun ni laws, rules and regulations àwọn tó nílùú. So finally, I think there's no more any question. I want to thank everybody for listening, and especially the contributors and then the people that ask questions. I hope I've been able to support today's program on immigration. Thank you very much. Good to everybody. Alagbabi, can you look on?
Ẹ ṣé mo accidentally mute ara mi ẹ ṣé gan lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Ó dà ń pé olóòtú tí wọ́n call in just a few seconds ago but mi tún rí wọn mọ́. So on that basis, olóòtú is not here. I'm the acting olóòtú tàbí co-host bó ti ń pè jáde kì í ṣe olóòtú. So and if are there any comments? Madam Alaja Abike, Bameto, Mr. Femi, Motorola Moto, Prince Engineer Lawrence, Mr. Yinka. So if there are comments, let's have it. Questions.
Joe, can I just make a comment?
By all means, sir. Please.
Yes, I posted a video in the chat.
Okay.
I was just watching this video over the last couple of days. I just think it's ironic where the skeleton of a man was found somewhere in the UK, and what analysis said, they found out that the skeleton was 10,000 years old. So they did a reconstruction, they did the DNA analysis, and they realized this was a black man. So the point being that, that the first Britain, or the people who actually first settled in Britain, they were actually black people, which is rather ironic that today the white people are driving black people out. They're trying to drive black people out of Britain. I posted the video. It's about an hour long, but it's very, very interesting. If anybody wants to watch it, it's in the chat. It's a very interesting video I watched just a few days ago. Deshi, thank you.
I've seen the video.
ẹ jẹ́ kí n fi kún yẹn.
Okay, tẹ́ bá ti kún tán, Prof, Mr. Giwa,
Ọ̀dà,
Continue,
just 2 lines.
Continue, sir.
Tẹ́ ẹ bá ní ẹni tó wà ń bẹ̀ 10,000 years ago dúdú ni. Tẹ́ ẹ bá wá kúrò ń bẹ̀ lọ sí Iceland, ẹ rí i pé àwọn èèyàn ti wà ní, àwọn dúdú ti wà níbẹ̀ yẹn ó ti pẹ́.
Yes.
So ìgbà tẹ́ wá sọ pé wọ́n ń lé dúdú kúrò ń bẹ̀ ní ìsìn, wọn ò tí ì lé wọn tán ni. Wọ́n ti lé wọn ọjọ́ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ọjọ́ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti lé dúdú kúrò ń bẹ̀. Àwa tá a ya lù wọ́n lẹ́nu jọ́ mẹ́ta, it was a consequence of their greed.
Yeah.
The colonialism, the book that I was going to share with you, Discovery, Expansion and Empire, àti Modern Geography by Prince and Wood, ó fi hàn pé àfọ́fà nìyẹn jẹ́ fún wọn after the Arab European war of religion. But èyí tó ṣe pàtàkì fún èmi àtẹ̀yìn òun ni pé ká wá ọ̀nà tá a fi máa protect ilẹ̀ wa àtàwọn èèyàn wa, not by anger, not by wickedness, but for a very intelligent promotion of human life on all sides, in order to make sure pé, let me give you an example of what hurts me. I was working at I was working at University of Lagos. Màmá mi wá kí mi nígbà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Kó tó wá kí mi, ó ti lọ gbogbo òro ata igbá àwo tó rà tó dì sínú ẹrù tó wá sí jàǹkàrà, ó ti tà á. Tó ti di epo pupa. Ó ti ṣeṣẹ́ àrù tó ti ṣe gbogbo rẹ̀ fún bí oṣù kan tó wá kẹ́rù wá sékòó. Èrè tó jẹ níbẹ̀ kò ju owó ọjọ́ méjì tí mo máa gba University of Lagos lọ. Ká wá fi ẹnìyẹn ṣe indigenous person, ká pè mí ní immigrant. Ṣé yẹn dáa? Kó jẹ́ pé nǹkan tí immigrant lè ṣe tó rọrùn tó jèrè ju onílé lọ 1,000,000 times. Well, nígbà tó pè mí ló lè nínú pé èmi wọn lájọ ń gbé dájọ́ ń gbà. I had to ṣàlàyé pé gbogbo owó tẹ̀mí fún yín bọ́lẹ̀ yín náà ti rí. But I couldn't say that to everybody like her. So wọ́n ní ká fọ̀rọ̀ wérọ̀, ká fi nǹkan wé nǹkan, ká lè bá a mọ what is the real place today. I want Yoruba people to go back to the spirit of our ancestors and think deep about how this problem should be approached. Kì í ṣe gbogbo problem tó bá wà láyé la máa gbé lẹ́pọ̀ òyìnbó láti solve. They are already corrupted. They won't find a way to solve it because they are psychologically, as I was saying, Genesis chapter 12, láti ìgbà yẹn ní Babylon títí dòní olónìí, we're talking thousands of years. They are accustomed to bó o bá ọpá bó o bá òbú lẹ́sẹ̀. Àwa la ní philosophical position to sọ pé we must really protect human life.
Mm-hmm.
But we must do it with wisdom.
Yeah.
Eshigo, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shengwami.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. ó lè gbé ó lè gbà náà ni wọ́n ti master wọ́n dẹ̀ the craft the act of cheating others nǹkan tó wá ṣe lọ́dọ̀ wa nìyẹn the basic thing tó ń ṣe ni pé
And they are still doing it.
improvisation kan impoverish the local population wọ́n máa impoverish the local population ni all the time ẹ wo ọ̀nìní ẹ wo owó ẹyọ wa wọ́n kàn devalue it overnight ìgbà tán dọ́dọ̀ wa they devalued it and it really had no more value ó pé wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ láti impoverish wa ok ṣe gan alàgbà Wálé Gíwá mi mọ̀ bóyá wọ́n wà ń bí or not.
Ṣé lọ́ọ̀yà ni?
Mo mí pé Olúgíwá not Wálé Gíwá.
Olúgíwá, yes.
Ṣé wọ́n wà ń bí? Mo kàn fẹ́ acknowledge wọn ni o. Mo rí some Samsungs and but everybody else ló lórúkọ so bóyá wọ́n ti drop off. So anyway, Alhaji Abbas, ọwọ́ yín ló kàn o.
Ẹ ṣé. With due respect to everybody, and everybody, you should be proud of what you have and own what you have. I am a Muslim and I'm proud to be a Muslim. And you can say that about your own religion too. I mean, I'm not trying to put anybody's religion down. I studied Islam and I believe is the best for me.
Good.
If you look into history, you will know people are defining Islam by Muslims. These are two different things entirely. But it is easier to define Islam by Muslims. People who talk about Islam, they know nothing about Islam. I can tell you that because Islam preaches is the best system for humanity. It promotes peace. Now, what am I talking about? The guy that tried to kill Donald Trump, he's a Christian. If that guy happens to be a Muslim, they will label him a terrorist and they will blame Islam for it. Anything a Muslim does, they blame Islam for it. And to be honest with you, I mean, it is what it is. I will not trade for everything in this world. I will not trade my religion for. If they give me everything in this world, I will not trade my religion for it. Because I know the value of what I have.
That's good.
Yes, Islam ruled Spain for almost 800 years. Not by sword. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he comes to this world, even his enemies, these people who don't believe him, they call him, he is the most trusted person of his time. Even those who are not Muslims, go and find out. When they want somebody who is honest, when they want to keep their assets, what they have, protect it, they give it to the prophet to keep for them, even though they are not Muslims. Because they know him, he is the most trusted person. He lives by best example. And books have been written. There's a man that did, a research. 100 most influential person in the world. And he named the prophet number 1 that as human being that's ever lived because of his achievement. So, again, the Fulani people, they have their own agenda. And when you look at the big picture, Islam, Muslims, we pay more price than anybody else. Even with terrorism, they kill more Muslims when it comes to terrorism than any other religion. So when people come with agenda, they don't see the agenda, but people live and label it by who they are. And it is what it is. And I hope everybody, you know yourself and you value what you have. I know myself. Everywhere that I've been, and I'm not here to praise myself. I live by best example. People who know me very well, anywhere I am, I make sure I'm the best. I make sure I'm the best. I'm of the best behavior. I'm the best person, and I give myself, because that's what I learned from Islam. So again, it is what it is. But God Almighty, He has created every one of us, and He put us where He thinks we are best fit. So I thank God for making me who I am. Thank you.
Ẹ ṣé gan, Alhaji. Thank you very, very much for that inspirational talk. You are so absolutely true and correct. To be proud of who we are and be comfortable within our skins are the most important quality any human being can have. And I'm glad that you think about that and you are proud of yourself. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Now, Prince Engineer Lawal, sir, I think ẹ̀yin ló kàn, sir. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, unmute ara yín. You are muted.
Okay.
Prince. Yes, I'm going to dancing, Prince.
Yeah. First of all, I'm very honored the face-to-face Prof. Adeboye on this platform. I think that make my day. And thank you, everyone, Comrade Oyefule and also Otumba, for really making this program, available to people. And also, I want to thank the speaker that just spoke right now, Abbas. I just want to make a quick comment before I go into my real comment. Is the issue that we're having in terms of religious? It's not really the issue is not really the religious. Emitimo wambi by Muni Afa Nle Mifurami Afa Muni professor Muni pastor, even one of my very close friend, very close to senior advisor for him, is a pastor. So nílé tèmi gan mo ní pastor, mo dẹ̀ ní dáàdi tèmi, dáàdi my second born dáàdi mi, wọ́n pè ní kékeré ifá, ẹni tó bá mọ̀ Ṣàgámù dáadáa, kékeré ifá kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀. So mo wà nú, mo mọ fá, mo mọ orò, mo wà nú agẹmọ, mo kò sí èyí tí mo mọ̀. But the oníṣẹ̀ṣe, I know all. Èmi tí mo wà níbà mo ti gba agẹmọ oríṣi bọ́, ti gba gbogbo kí ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀, a ti ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. But the main important thing tí mo kàn máa fẹ́ make comment ni pé kì í ṣe religion, is the people. Is the people. It's not religion at all. Àwọn tó ń ṣe kinní tó ń use religion, àwọn tó ń sọ pé wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe ṣẹ̀ríà, kí làwọn mọ̀ tó jẹ́ ṣẹ̀ríà, kí ló mọ̀? So it's people. So I just want people to know that. So with that, mo kàn ní kí n ya make comment yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀. But with that, I'm really happy and blessed to really be part of this discussion. We're talking about immigration and migration. Just a comment on that. That migration ó ti wà ńbẹ̀ for years, and it's going to be there for future to come, for many, many years to come. So there's no doubt about that. But the issue, tell me, when we're talking of immigration and migration, pé káwa náà ká ronú padà sí ilé, ni wípé political stability ní ilé tiwa níbi táwa ti wá, which is to really be able to keep system clean, which is our problem, to be able to eradicate corruption, which is the issue, Tani. But this should be a focus of our people. Mo wà lórí meeting kan, they call them high potential think tank. I was so disappointed that we talked. I was listening for almost 1 hour. We talked, everybody, at least almost about 90% in that platform, PhD, different a different area. No one mentioned corruption. It really saddened me because this is the issue. We're talking of migration, we're talking of this and that. Meeting one be by multi company the bank share want to send me lossy because an expatriate want to I more but it's because of our system. We have to look back, regardless. Because see, tẹ́nìkan on this platform, kàn lè sọ fún mi, tẹ́nìkan lè sọ fún mi on this platform, pé àwọn lè sọ fún mi one account ní Nigeria or ní Africa to yẹ pé is owned by any politician in Western world. Are we ready to give that person $5,000 right now? Could give me any evidence. But over here, I can tell you so many accounts to belong to our politician. I can tell you more ilé omi to pay 10 million, 5 million house, tí mo address personally to belong to our politician. To pay bóyá wọ́n gbé bẹ́ẹ̀ fún 1 week, 2 weeks lọ́dún. Ṣé òyìnbó ló ní ká máa ṣe yẹn ni? So it's a corruption. Until we address that, until we address keeping the system clean, it is when we can start thinking about development. It is when we can start thinking about our communities. It is when we can start thinking of any sustainability in terms of technology. So this is where our focus should be. So sometimes I feel like we are focusing on the wrong agenda. Migration, immigration is going to be there. Mo rántí ìgbà tí mo travel ní 86. I remember dollar ńgbà yẹn. It's about 86 or 75 kobo. This the valuation, this and that. We should not even worry about that. If we can keep the system clean, we focus on the issue, which is our people, ourselves. Forget about people, what people are doing. What can we do? What can we make change within our system? I think that is the question. That's what we should be focusing. And I hope putting Nigeria into regional or maybe Yoruba and Biafra, if that's what we're going to have. I hope maybe that will be the one that's going to solve the problem. But at least this is our focus. Corruption, everywhere corruption. So with that, I will raise my case. So thank you very much again for this program. It is a blessing. Otumba, I've been listening to you so many times, and to really see you in life, I really appreciate that. I'm one of your big fan. And Prof. Adeboye, thank you. Nice to see you on this platform. Thank you.
Eshegon Prince, thank you very, very, very much. Òótọ́ gbà gan lẹ́sọ, ẹ má ti cut off, sir. Òótọ́ gbà gan lẹ́sọ. Anything, Yoruba nation, Yoruba no nation, and Nigeria is one. Nigeria is not one. Bá pariwo látàárọ̀ títí dalẹ́ until we address the issue of corruption. We're just wasting our time. Corruption gone, the cancer to wọ Nigeria. That cancer introduced by the colonialists, they blame. They want to destroy the system. Come by leje. But on long call, can it allow other people to continue this form of corruption? Òyìnbó wá sọ́dọ̀ wa, only driver. Colonial master, only driver, only gate man, only houseboy, only boy scouters, only gbogbo ẹ̀. Ìgbà tó retire tó padà lọ sí England, òun ló ń gbé ẹrù ara ẹ̀ káàkiri, kò ní gate man, kò ní anything. But our people got into the position and they want to mimic all these type of things. I understand. And if Atoyinbo, Oguntoyinbo, Ifasi Oyinbo,
Oladoyinbo.
How can you compare Ifasi Oyinbo? How can you compare first class honors, first class láti University of Ibadan? Ẹ ṣe máa compare sí primary 6. That is, Ifá ní first class o, òyìnbó ní primary 6 o. How in the name of Jesus Christ can we say Ifá tó yìnbó?
But Ògún tó yìnbó náà wà, Ògún tó yìnbó.
Ọládòyìnbó wà àjọ lọ sí school ni.
Èmi náà ní Ajófóyìnbó.
Yes, ó wà, mo ti gbọ́ yẹn náà rí. How can we take a primitive culture kí ọmọlúwàbí tó gbọ́ Ifá kó dẹ̀ máa wò yẹn lókè? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm one of them too, before I became born again. Gbogbo àná la ń ṣàkọ pé when I was in England, when I was in America, irọ́ ni gbogbo ẹ̀. When I was, ó kàn dùn mí pé ìgbà tó mú mi lọ school ní age 4.5, wọ́n mú mi lọ sí ilé Ifá, ibi tó yẹ kọ́kọ́ mú mi lọ nìyẹn. Then I will be forever grateful. Now that I know, those of us àti ní terminal degrees àti ṣe prof wọ́n lè back me up àti dé ibi tí òyìnbó gan fúnra wọn ò dé academically. We now find out ni pé orin Sunny, àwọn òwe tó wà nínú Sunny's album èmi fi máa ń gbẹ́jọ́ àwọn òyìnbó gbà tí mo ṣe specialty course mi. Tí bá mú ìkan nínú wọn tí bá translate ẹ̀ sóyìnbó wá ní so deep, whereas òwe tí Sunny fi ń kọrin mọ́ ń translate. Ìgbà tó dẹ̀ sọ fún mi pé ó deep, mo ní bóyá ó deep lóòótọ́. Then I became a believer in our culture. So mo dẹ̀ wọ̀ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí quite a whole lot of us. So Ifá ò tó òyìnbó rárá o, òyìnbó fẹ́ẹ̀ tó Ifá mo gbọ́ yẹn. So I will say that ẹ ṣe gan, the corruption yẹn ta continue with after the òyìnbó left. The corruption yẹn continue with after tí òyìnbó left. Tó ṣe wá sí dèdè nìyẹn. Prince, ẹ ṣe gan for bringing it up. Mr. Bankole, Bàbá Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, ṣé ẹ̀yin ló kàn sá?
Èmi ló kàn, ẹ ṣé púpọ̀.
Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ o.
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀, mo láìkì táìtù yẹn.
Ọ̀túnba Òsénì wà ń bẹ̀ tó máa take over.
Láìkì táìtù yẹn bẹ̀, mo fẹ́ dìfà táìtù yẹn fún Ọ̀túnba Òsénì.
Okay.
Ẹ ṣeun púpọ̀. Inú mi dùn fún gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tá a ti ń sọ. Inú mi dẹ̀ dùn pé ọ̀rọ̀ tí Prince Engineer Lawal sọ gbẹ̀yìn nípa pé corruption ó kún ara problem ta ní kò sí irọ́ níbẹ̀. Ohun tẹ́mi fẹ́ ká wò ni pé a ti rí problem immigration, a ti rí tó ń dálẹ̀ all over the world. Báwo la ṣe fẹ́ ṣe nílùú tiwa sódà tá a bá ká láti ẹ̀gbá Yorùbá nation tiwa. Ẹ jọ fún. Ká ní àti ẹ̀gbá Yorùbá nation tiwa ń sìn, kí la ti fẹ́ ṣe, báwo la ṣe fẹ́ manage tó yẹ pé kò ní sí backlash, kò ní sí wàhálà fún wa. Àbẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n nǹkan tí mo sọ. Tá a bá gba Yorùbá nation tiwa, báwo la ṣe fẹ́ make sure pé a ò ní problem ní tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀, báwo la ṣe fẹ́ gbogbo kíní ìṣe àríkọ́gbọ́n. Tẹ́ bá kíyèsí àwọn òyìnbó, àwọn western world, based on humanitarian basis náà ṣe gba àwọn people wọ̀nyí ni problem yìí ló ṣe dé. Kì í ṣe corruption ló bí ohun táwọn ní. Bẹ̀tẹ̀ báwo tiwa, corruption ló bí n ta ní lọ́dọ̀ wa tó fa gbogbo immigration problem ta ní Yorùbá land. For example, ìgbà tá a bá wọlé tá a fi kọ́ store tá ò gbé store yẹn fáwọn ọmọ wa, kí la rò bó máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Ìgbà tá a bá wọ ọjà tá a remodel ẹ̀, tá a ń gbé fẹ́lòmíì, tá a empower ẹlòmíì torí pé wọ́n lówó lọ́wọ́ tán lè fi bribe wa. Store tó yẹ kán gbà 5,000, a gbé fún wọn 20,000, wọ́n dẹ̀ sanwó ẹ̀. Torí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri nílẹ̀ Yorùbá nìyẹn. Corruption yẹn ló fa gbogbo ẹ̀, ló fa gbogbo problem ta ní. Bẹ́ẹ̀ nílùú òyìnbó ní western world, kì í ṣe pé torí corruption làwọn ṣe ní problem tán nílé ní, bí kò ṣe torí pé ojú àánú táwọn ń ṣe òun ló fa problem wọn. So èmi wá ń béèrè pé nílẹ̀ wa báà la ṣe fẹ́ ṣe so that a ní problem yìí. A ti ní problem náà, bẹ́ẹ̀ báà la ṣe fẹ́ stem problem ta ní lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí tí ò fi ní gbòòrò ju bí tá a wà yìí lọ. ní ọ̀bọ̀yọ́ tí mo ń sọ yé wa bá problem ta nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lónìí báwo la ṣe fẹ́ dá dúró tí ò ní tó yẹ pé from now on kó máa help ká rí pé reduction wà ń bẹ̀. How do we stem the tide of this problem we have in Yoruba land? Ẹ ṣé.
Ẹ jọ sí mo lè sáré dáhùn lóhùn.
Sure.
ẹ jẹ́ má bínú mo kàn fẹ́ oníkan clarify ni ìgbà tí ẹ sọ pé problem ta ní Yorùbá land ṣé ẹ sọ nípa corruption tí alàgbà Prince sọ ni o tàbí ẹ sọ immigration or immigration what are you referring to? You are muted. On mute ara yín.
The problem of immigration in Yoruba land.
Immigration in Yoruba land
is partly born out of corruption of our leaders.
Oh, yeah, no.
They empowered immigrants over the indigenous people.
Oh, yeah, me.
They empowered immigrants because the immigrant will be able to pay bribe to pay tax, even to build a house in Lagos. Highest bidder.
Pàrọ̀ òótọ́ ni misapplied ọmọlúwàbí ethos nìyẹn ọmọlúwàbí ethos ó ní pé ká máa welcome foreigners ìgbà táwọn èèyàn misapply ẹ̀ tí wọ́n á monetize ẹ̀ ní nǹkan tẹ̀ ń sọ yẹn you are correct. Ọ̀túnba ẹni pé ẹ lè sọ nǹkan pa ẹ̀.
Just a quick one to what Alàgbà Bankole Nkodan sọ. Again, I said in my mini presentation wípé governance, even the most crooked country in the world, àwọn náà ní ìjọba tí wọ́n gbé sílẹ̀. Tí ọ̀rọ̀ ti máa dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ báyìí tí wọ́n ti pé méjì mẹ́ta ẹ lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ congregation anywhere that is accredited to be a sovereign state. That definitely they have a governance there. Gbogbo issue migration or whatever, it can only be regulated through laws of the land, rules, regulations, and so on and so forth. There's no shortcut to it. Then I want to appreciate the issue of corruption. Oh yes, there's no doubt about it. Tí corruption bá jẹ́ pé also manifest nínú gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń ṣe ní Nigeria ni 95% of àwọn tá a kúrò nílé when I left 1970 corruption is not one of the reasons tẹ́mi fi kúrò nílé. So but then I can now see that pé effect corruption sí only driving factor fún àyòmọye àwọn èèyàn wa tí wọ́n fi ń kúrò nílé because when I hear from any young fella not just anything bad, it took me a long time to digest it. Anything but Nigeria, mind. So what can also so bank for many people because corruption and to affect commerce, funding from education, commerce good roads, commerce from agri, commerce from our basic things to just pay attract him láti wà nílé. Jẹ́ pé àwọn nǹkan yẹn ló máa jẹ́ reasons bí people say ẹ̀kọ́ available yẹn ló máa jẹ́ reason tí everybody máa fi jáde. It's a serious problem. And then the way things are, I'm sorry, I've learned this from my seniors. It might take another 100 years. That's a get it to people. Then bringing it to Yoruba, if it's about by Yoruba country, not like Yoruba nation, whatever it is, the what we cannot remove is again the aspect of governance. So abasima regulate gbogbo àwọn tó wá láti má jẹ́ kí n dárúkọ àwọn eré àbí kan àwọn tó wá láti Èkìtì tàbí Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ ọ̀kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn pé gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ló máa regulate gbogbo movement wọn but I can imagine pé irú Àwórì tó wà well developed sí wọ́n máa fẹ́ kó wá síbẹ̀ kankan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn so local government Àwórì.
Ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ gbọ̀ngàn àwọn ará gbọ̀ngàn máa gba visa láti wọ Yorùbá land sí ṣé nǹkan tó sọ nìyẹn.
So on a more serious note, regulations will deal with this problem, and that is how it has been. And it's all even during the time in memory tí àwọn Yorùbá tí ń ṣe government wọn, they have different layers, different levels, different categories of àwọn kan náà máa delegate àwọn kan ṣe nǹkan wọn kan gbogbo yẹn is also aspect of governance. So kò sí bá ṣe fẹ́ ṣe when the time comes, and it only hurts me tí n bá rí pé most of àwọn tó ń jà fún Yorùbá nation yìí, you now look at tó bá di serious business of governance, some of them might not find a place to occupy because they might not be qualified to be, and he's not being arrogant. I might not even qualify because but you see, gbogbo nǹkan tó ń fa corruption ó pọ̀ jù. In order to remove it, tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí remove it, because wá ti jẹ́ pé tí n bá ṣe politics, I had all the opportunities in this world. A lot of people, I have a former president who is like an in-law to me. Mi lọ jókòó sábùjá náà tó mi ní ti fẹ́ gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Mo ní ẹni tí mò ń sìn ní my could have gone there. Kí n lọ jókòó wá lọ wá bọ̀ pé ọ̀tún bá ṣe wá ń bẹ̀. Wọ́n ní ẹ kò ṣe gbogbo nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀. But àwọn kan wà tó yẹ pé torí kan fẹ́ dogun, wọ́n fẹ́ dọ́gbọ́n. And as long as this kind of competition exists, they just want to be part of it, they just want to achieve more, which compared to some of the European countries, want to remove poverty. The poor are the one where between poverty, why you know in Bolowa now. All what they did is unmask it, uncover it, jẹ́ kí ẹni tí ò lè rìn kó lálàṣe, ẹni tí ebi ń pa kó má rí nǹkan tó fẹ́ jẹ, Medicare, so many things. If America, America gan sì ń struggle pẹ̀lú Medicare. So these are issues. Governance and government will deal with it. So toward the time here, Papa Bankole, when we get there, government are wants to regulate it. It will anyway, sorry. Citizen of Alama Besi describe our citizens have a main center of Kinibia Wori land. But I want to let's say Meji Kopada. Want to apply. Thank you, sir.
But your mouth will get you into trouble, sir. Most of all, due respect. Because here, tí Gbọ̀ngàn àti Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ tó bá dìpọ̀ kan wá àánú ṣe mí o, don't call me to support you, sir. Because Àwórì jìnnà sí Ìjẹ̀bú, so don't call me. Anyway.
Àwọn Àwórì ọ̀ǹgẹ̀ ṣe bí Ilé-Ifẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti wá.
Ẹ máa ṣe òjàre ibi tó ti ń wá àwo kiri ni àwo wọn wá.
So táwọn tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ bá fẹ́ lé wọn padà lọ sí Ilé-Ifẹ̀ nǹkan.
Ẹ máa ṣe àwọn migrants yẹn. Now, well, you don't have any answer to that, Otunba. So, the professor did a professorial job.
And next time,
you. Anyway, I should go. Now, but you saw corruption. Imagine moral bankruptcy to the setting, in addition to the corruption of give me money, I won't give you money. That moral bankruptcy. Thank you very much. Baba, would you want to talk, sir?
Yes. Mo fẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn tó ti sọ̀rọ̀. And then I want to, with all humility, invite us to try and acquire some educational material tó ti pẹ́. I benefit a lot from some of those things. Ìwé tó wà lọ́wọ́ mi nísìnyí, I bought it 14th of July 1967 lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Bookshop to one gbà yẹn náà almost opposite Kingsway ní Broad Street ibẹ̀ ni mo ti rà. The book is entitled Ladder of Bones. Ó rèé ẹ̀yẹ̀wò. Ladder of Bones. Òyìnbó obìnrin ló kọ Ellen Top. Ó pè ní the birth of modern Nigeria from 1853 to independence. Mo fẹ́ kí àyíká ìgbé England. Ó yẹ ká lè ríra torí mo ra kọ́pì kan ní about 2013. Ibi tí mo ti ń bọ̀ nínú plane ibẹ̀ ni stewardess kan ti jí pamọ́. Ibi tí mo sùn sí. But principally, èyí tó wà l'Amẹ́ríkà tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ kò sí ẹni tó gbé, ó wà lọ́wọ́ mi bí. What do I want to take out of it?
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, repeat orúkọ yẹn, sir, one more time.
Ladder of Bones. Ǹjẹ́ ẹ lè focus lórí káwọn ará bí ó rí?
Ẹ lift ọwọ́ yín sókè díẹ̀ kìíní.
Okay.
Oh, Ladder of Bones, okay.
Ladder of Bones. Ellen Top.
Ellen Top.
ELLEN That's the first. The last name is Thorpe. Elentop. Of course, kì í ṣe gbogbo nǹkan tó wà ń bẹ̀ ni mo fara mọ́ o, but òdodo pọ̀ ń bẹ̀. Irọ́ náà wà ń bẹ̀, especially nǹkan tó bá bastardize àwọn èèyàn wa. They plan to. Now, kí ni mo fẹ́ fàyọ ń bẹ̀? Tẹ́ bá wo ìgbà tẹ́mi wá sílẹ̀ yìí, $51, $57 òní $1. Lónìí, thousands of naira only $1. Is that the first time around? No. Owó ẹyọ tá a ti ná tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ kí wọ́n tó kó coins dé. By the time tèmi wà ní kékeré, orúkọ tí wọ́n ń pè tọ́rọ́, which is 3 pence. 3 pence is what? 1/80th of a pound. There are 4 3-penny pieces in a shilling, and there are 20 shillings in the pound. So 4 times 20, 80. Èló ni wọ́n ń pè 3 pence. Ọ̀ọ́dúnrún. Ọ̀ọ́dúnrún is 300. Ó mì pé nǹkan tó bá ṣe pé ìfẹ́ tà ní tọ́rọ́, ó gbọ́dọ̀ lọ wá ọ̀ọ́dúnrún owó ẹyọ. That's the exchange rate. Ó ti bà owó wa jẹ́ over the years during slavery and colonialism and what have you. So 1951, mo gbọ́n mọ ìyàtọ̀ láàrin, èmi ò tiẹ̀ mọ ìyàtọ̀. Torí nígbà tí wọ́n bá ní èlò ní ìṣáná, mò ń ta àtẹ. Tí wọ́n bá ní èlò ní ìṣáná, tí mo bá ní tọ́rọ́ ní méjì, torí ìṣáná fẹ́lẹ́ mọ alágbè, kọ́bọ̀ kan àbọ̀ ni. Méjì rẹ̀ tọ́rọ́. Wọ́n ní ọ̀ọ́dúnrún. Ó mì pé inflation tí wọ́n ti pump síbẹ̀ by undervaluing the money tá à ń lò. Just as now 1,000 plus naira is equal to $1. Ó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ti pẹ́. My brothers and sisters, that is the foundation of corruption. Nítorí nǹkan tí ẹ bá fẹ́ rà, tí resources yín ò tó rà, tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ nǹkan tẹ́ rò pé ìgbésí ayé yín nǹkan tẹ́ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe kẹ́ tó tàtẹ́rù ń pa ni, ẹ fẹ́ wọ́nà gbégbà. That's how corruption was built into the system. The corruption was built into the system, and like all bad behavior, you become addicted to it. Ìyẹn mọ́ mo rántí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kan tí mo fi Indian hemp ṣakọ. Nígbà bá mu Indian hemp tí wọ́n máa hùwà jágajàga nínú ilé, mo wá challenge ẹ̀ pé ìwà lọ tí ipa ní bá. Ó ní ìsọkúsọ ni mò ń sọ. Tó bá jẹ́ mi ló ń mú ni èmi náà rí ìyàtọ̀ ẹ̀ mú ní kì í ṣe dandan ni kéèyàn ó mú, but mo lè mú nísìn tí ò ní change ìwà mi. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi yẹn bá róòlù Indian hemp fún mi. This was, anyway, ó róòlù Indian hemp yẹn fún mi, ó bẹ́ná sí, mo mú. Lóòótọ́ ó change character mi, ó change feelings mi. But nígbà tí mo ti decide pé kò ní change character mi at that point, nígbà tí mo mú tán, ló ní mi ò ní sórí bó ṣe ń ṣe, mo ní kò sí bó ṣe ń ṣe mí tí mi ò lè control. Ó ní tó bá fún ẹ ní kejì nǹkan, mo ní kí ni mo fẹ́ fi kejì ṣe. So I knew the effect of Indian hemp, marijuana, but I did not allow myself to get addicted to it. Mo ní nǹkan mi ṣe. The same thing with corruption, the same thing ni pé tí àwọn Fúlàní pè ní rìbá, bribe. Oríṣiríṣi nǹkan báwọn yẹn tí ò sí nínú ìwà wa àti ṣe wa tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀. Ìgbà tí wọ́n undermine economy wa débi pé àárọ̀ náà gbé gbà. Tí wọ́n bá fi nǹkan burúkú lọ̀ wá, bó ṣe ń fọ iṣẹ́ aṣẹ́wó lóbìnrin, bó ṣe ń fi ṣe gbá, bó ṣe ṣàwọ̀. You know, you think you can try it once and forget it. No. Ó bá ti stress ẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀mejì lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta, ìgbà tó bá pẹ́ dẹ̀ á doyè mọ́ra. Rìbá tá à ń gbà, corruption tá à ń ṣe, is not fundamentally Yoruba character. It's an addiction to nǹkan tí wọ́n impose lé wa lórí. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká ẹ bá sọ wọ́n dolórí búkú náà ní fi bú wọn. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká wá gbà bí gbà pé corruption yẹn o, wọ́n bímọ wa ni o. No. Any aspect of our lives tí ò kì í ṣe tiwa, even àwa tá a kéré yìí tá a mọ̀ pé kò kì í ṣe tiwa, our responsibility is to find our way back to the path of rectitude tó jẹ́ tiwa tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ if we want to change the country, the people for the better. Ǹjẹ́ tá a bá lè ṣe what? Ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ mọ ibi tó ti ń bọ̀. Ẹni tí ò bá mọ ibi tó ti ń bọ̀ lè mọ ibi tó ń lọ. Bí iwájú ò bá ṣe lọ, ńkọ́? Ẹ̀yin á mọ̀ ṣe padà sí. Ẹ̀yin ká padà sílé ọkọ àárọ̀ tí mo ti ń sọ bí àwọn ìyàwó ilé wa ti mọ̀ sọ. It's important. Ọ̀nà wo ló máa gbé wa débẹ̀? We must be equipped with some knowledge. And that's why I'm begging. Irú ìwé báyìí ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wá. Ìwé báyìí God's Crucible by David Levering Pierce ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wá. Ìwé bí Modern Geography ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wá. Gbogbo ẹ̀ ló wà ní England o torí ẹgbẹ́ yẹn la máa ń tira lòkùwé. Mi ò mọ̀ bóyá bí Amazon ẹ Google ẹ wá bí tẹ́ ti rà ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wá. It may be the greatest thing that each of us as individuals has done for himself or herself over the years. Torí ibi tí nǹkan tí ò bá yé wa, ibo la máa gbé gbà. Àwa dọ̀rọ̀ religion. Yes, I agree with Alhaji Abbas. It is not necessarily Islam that you want to confront. It is Arab racism, which they inherited from the middle of Asia, which they inherited from Babylon, which they inherited from other places. Religion tí wọ́n wá evolve in parallel to their racism and sectionalism is embedded in their culture because their culture evolved it. So wá sọ fún mi pé whatever good things are said in the Quran, I have the Quran here, I have it here, and it's written in English so I can read it. All the good things, whatever they are in the Bible, all the good things, whatever they are in the Quran, all the good things in any religion, ìyẹn kọ́ ni challenges wa. Our challenges are the culture to emerge, tí wọ́n ti emerge, the negatives of that culture, the selfishness of that culture, the brutality of that culture gets evangelized with the religion that they are pushing. So you have to be almost a genius to separate them. We don't have to be geniuses. Tá a bá ti mọ̀ pé yàtọ̀ wà, tá a dá dúró pọ̀ mọ́ ṣàpà. Then we must say, hey, I have the Bible in French. In other words, we must really learn how to learn if we want to recover stability for our people. That's what I'm preaching. That's what I'm begging for. It's not going to be easy, but it is highly possible.
Eshegoni, thank you very, very, very much. Just to support nǹkan tẹ́ sọ nípa nǹkan tó ṣe pẹ̀lú owó wa in terms of ọ̀nìní àti improvisation of our society. Wọ́n ṣe ń gba ọ̀nìní ìgbà tó kọ́kọ́ contact wa. Wọ́n tún ṣe 1986 via the IMF.
Yes.
Tó ń devalue owó wa, structural adjustment, SAP.
Yeah.
But ìyàtọ̀ ni pé ní àkọ́kọ́ ìgbà tó impoverish wa pẹ̀lú láti sanwó ẹyọ wa did nothing. We did not know who these people were. But by 1986, tó tún ṣe exactly the same thing again through the IMF. Babangida Falaye, a graduate of ṣé Yale ní Fálàyé lọ ní tàbí Princeton?
He went to Government College Ibadan, University of Ibadan, and Yale.
Yale. I mean, a Yale graduate to commit to allow during his own watch to commit exactly the same crime to ṣẹlẹ̀ hundreds or 100 years before, or maybe even 200 years before. She we did meet Fálàyé once or twice, and I didn't. One day, but I just meet him.
Yeah,
yes. And I didn't see a miserable old man.
No.
I saw a civil, decent man. So apparently, Yale graduate, civil, intelligent, but he did not know. Tó bá ti rántí nǹkan tó ń ṣe pẹ̀lú owó ẹyọ wa, he will have tried to resist nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ in 1986 again. So that's where we're saying, Bamito, where awareness, enlightenment. Our people must be enlightened. Kì í ṣe pẹ̀lú pé wọ́n lọ gba masters or bachelors university yẹn kọ́, to know the type of things we're talking about right now. Owó ẹyọ wọn bàjẹ́, náírà wọn bàjẹ́.
With the same agenda.
Same agenda.
Now, Alàgbà.
Yes, sir.
Ẹ jẹ́ kí n kí yín lẹ́yìn ìṣẹ́jú kan. Mo gbọ́ pé mi ò sí ńbẹ̀ o. Mo gbọ́ pé wọ́n béèrè lọ́wọ́ gbogbo Nàìjíríà pé ṣé káwọn ó dìbàlú owó. Àwọn èèyàn ní no.
Mo gbọ́.
Ṣé gbọ́ yẹn?
Mo gbọ́ dáadáa kí wọ́n sọ pé no.
Kí wọ́n sọ pé no. Báwo ni wọ́n tó bá jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn mátà? Ìgbà tí wọ́n ti sọ no yẹn, ta ló máa yí padà? Òyìnbó ló yí padà using the power tí wọ́n ní lórí Babangida àti Fálàyé. Àwọn ló yí padà agbára tí wọ́n ní lórí wọn gbogbo àṣẹṣe mọ̀ ṣe àṣírí wọn tí wọ́n ní lọ́wọ́ tí wọ́n lè túká all that kind of thing. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká gbàgbé pé mi ò fẹ́ sọ̀sọkúsọ lórí kíni.
ẹjọ́ ẹ̀sọ́ afẹ́gbọ́ ẹjọ́.
Kò ṣeé sọ ẹnu ẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe bí àgbàlagbà. Màá sọ pé ṣe ni wọ́n gbá wọn ní nǹkan mú.
Wọ́n gbọ́ àwọn lẹ́pọ̀n mú.
Àwọn ọmọdé wà mí o.
But seriously, ẹ má jẹ́ ká no àmọ́ búyàn pé ó ṣe báyìí. Yes. I was impressed. Táwọn èèyàn wá sọ pé àwọn ò fẹ́ dìbàlú owó. I was very, very impressed. Ó ti gbà kámú pé ọlọ́mú wọn lẹ́ẹ̀kan yìí o, wọn ò ní lè dìbàlú owó. But it requires only a decree signed by Babangida to do it.
That's right.
And Fálàyé had to go along. She be secretary to the government.
That's right.
Yeah. Bàbá, mo rò pé ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ sọ yẹn sà, if olóòtú will allow me. Ìgbà ayé Buhari àti Ìdí Àgbọn, there was something similar to a plebiscite. Nígbà yìí pé ṣé ká gba owó IMF àbí ká má gbà á. So gbogbo ìlú sọ pé a ò fẹ́ pé a máa tighten belt wa. So immediately kò ju ọjọ́ mélòó kan ni àwọn Babangida gbàjọba. So they just turn things round.
Okay. Ẹ ṣeun. Ohun tó kù lọ́rọ̀ wa ni pé tá a bá sọ pé àgbà tíjọba sì fi dandan ṣe káàrọ̀ gbógun tí wọ́n ní tó kù tá àti ìmọ̀ ṣe nìyẹn.
That's right.
Ní tó kù tá àti ìmọ̀ ṣe nìyẹn. Ogun tó wà legitimate ni mo sọ yìí ó kì í ṣe pé a fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ Igbo, a fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ Yorùbá, a fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ kìíní. Ogun tó wà legitimate, let all governments be local. Tí Yorùbá bá sọ pé àwọn ò ṣe nǹkan kan ní Western region, tí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì bá wà lọ gbà wọn ò ní rí légbé. If we were really autonomous, ìtú wọ́n ṣe rí légbé ní ìsìn ni pé federal troops ló máa wá dà sọ́dọ̀ wa lápá wa òkèká àwọn tí ò gbédè wa.
Nǹkan tá a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe ẹ ṣe gan-an bàbá.
Make all governments local. Let's have autonomy for any large linguistic nationality like Yoruba. Ọ̀rọ̀ wa yéra wa in short order. In 1965, nígbà tá a sọ pé ìjọba kan wà tá a fẹ́ ní Western region, ọkàn wọn ò balẹ̀.
That's right.
kọ́sà àjọkàn wọn ó balẹ̀. Okay,
Eshe, thank you very much.
Sorry, sir. Ó ṣe ní láàánú 36 or 37 governors. Àwọn náà insist sí ipá àwọn ọ̀fẹ́ local government. Even the Supreme Court of the country.
Àwa la gbà fún wọn. Ìbùkún ní fún ẹni tí a fọ̀bọ́ lọ ègbé ní fẹ́ tó gbà.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, sir.
Nítorí pé owó tó ń jí wọn ní orí jímọ̀ náà ni. Tálẹ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ láìsí légbò.
Ìbùkún ní fún ẹni tí a fọ̀bọ́ lọ ègbé ní. Nobody promises you that governance will be generous or nice or whatever. Indeed, Thomas Jefferson told Americans after they signed the Constitution, only eternal vigilance is the price of liberty.
Liberty, absolutely.
Abi?
That's right.
Nothing. It's America. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Nǹkan tó ò bá jẹ́ tí ò fẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ sáwọn èèyàn rẹ̀ wà á fojú dẹ̀. Tó bá ti pín pín kó tiẹ̀ tó gbé jálẹ̀, ó ti challenge ẹ̀.
Thank you very much. One statement into Prince Kalejaye. Again, enlightenment, awareness. Our people must be aware of what happened with Oweyo. They must also be aware of what happened in 1986. Let's put in proper perspective as part of our educational system. Informal education, so for people to know. Because those type of things are people just do not know.
Wọ́n ti fi tírà náà gbogbo wọn.
Gbogbo wa alàgbà kì í ṣe gbogbo wọn o, gbogbo wa máa ní gbogbo wa náà fi tírà náà. Ẹ jẹ́ akọ̀wé ká lè jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn mọ̀ pé nǹkan tí òyìnbó ń ṣe fún wa through àwọn accomplices wọn tó wà pẹ̀lú wa nìyẹn o. Gbogbo wa náà fi tírà náà kò sí wọn kankan bẹ̀ wá ni o. Anyway, ṣé gan alàgbà Mr. Femi mo ó dà pé why do I have the feeling pé Mr. Femi ló sọ̀rọ̀ sí?
Correct.
I know that will be my rebel without it.
M1.
Syntax or momo. Syntax.
Okay.
That's why the syntax. Mr. Femi.
Báwo ni Jẹ̀bú ṣe mọ syntax gbọ̀ngàn?
Ẹ dé o.
Ìjẹ̀bú àpòsí.
Àwòrán ní Fẹ́mi náà.
No, Ìjẹ̀bú gbọ̀ngàn.
Ẹ ṣe jàre.
Ó tọ́mọ̀ ní.
Ìjẹ̀bú gbọ̀ngàn ni wọ́n. Nǹkan tó fi recognize wọn immediately náà nìyẹn. Prince Kalejaye, ẹ̀yin ló kàn o. Bàdé tí máa ń sọ ń Jẹ̀bú táwọn gbọ̀ngàn ọmọ ìwọ òun kàn.
Ìyẹn yé mi o.
Ìwọ ọ̀rọ̀ òun kàn yẹn kàn.
Ẹ ṣeun gan, ẹ kú àtàárọ̀, ẹ kú àtótó. Mo ní ìdúpẹ́ fún àǹfààní láti join meeting yìí. Even though mi ò sí ní ilé, but bí mo ṣe ń get ready before láti join ni mo ń wo nǹkan tí BC ń sọ lórí ẹ̀rọ. Àwọn documentary kan tí wọ́n ń ṣe nípa Hawaii. Bó ṣe wú mi lórí tó lágbàgbé ní ọ̀jẹ́ kí n lè join meeting nígbà tí mo schedule láti wà ní mo lò láti join meeting. But gbogbo nǹkan tí wọ́n ti sọ ní àǹfààní láti bọ̀tí lẹ́nu ẹ̀ òun ni èyí tí bàbá Adébóyè gbẹnu lé lórí nǹkan tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àǹfààní tí mo ní níbi tí mo travel lọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá òun ni àwọn nǹkan míì tí mo rí mọ̀ pé ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ti ń gbé ṣe. In continuation to that, tó fún mi ní àǹfààní bí nǹkan bí ọdún 4 sí 5 sẹ́yìn láti parapọ̀ mọ́ Yorùbá gbé kí n máa gbọ́ nǹkan tí wọ́n ń sọ. Ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe sọ láti ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ náà, I just want to be nǹkan jẹ́ bí observer because haven't seen a lot nípa ìjà agbára láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ bí mo ṣe wà ní kékeré. Mo rí wípé ẹ má jẹ́ ká fi ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ pa ejò kan tí èèyàn kan ṣe fún wa. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Abbas sọ̀rọ̀ lórí religion, what Islam has done to him. Mo gbọ́ nǹkan tí bàbá sọ lórí Ifá, bí ó ṣe jẹ́ nǹkan tí ó ṣe ìwúrí fún wọn, àǹfààní tí wọ́n rí ń bẹ̀. But nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ fàyọ nú ẹ̀ ni wípé ó dàbí ẹni wípé the Yorubaness in us is what make us a better person in other religion tí a ní exposure sí. Mi ò mọ̀ bóyá ọ̀rọ̀ mi yẹn mo make statement yẹn wà válid. The Yorubaness in us, whether Islam ni o, bóyá Christianity ni o, bóyá Muslim ni o, or Ifá ni o, Ọbàtálá and all the rest. The Yorubaness in us will make us a better, which I will say ọmọlúwàbí. I think it's my Bible that tells me, only the book of Philippians, chapter 4, 8-9. But also, finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there is any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things. I strongly believe as a Yoruba person, as a Yoruba man, integrity ó ṣe pàtàkì gan. Tá bá fi orí wórí, tá fira wa ń wé nǹkan tí funfun ṣe fún wa kí wọ́n ṣe láti gbà yìí sígbà yìí. ABC News tí mo ní mò ń gbọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan, nǹkan tí àwọn funfun colonialists wọ́n ṣe fún wọn ní Hawaii, tán ba plantation, tán sọ ilẹ̀ wọn di ilẹ̀ plantation, tán rùn ilẹ̀ wọn tí omi ò dé ibi tó yẹ kó dé, tó create tí wildfire di nǹkan tó ń destroy ibi tí ò sí, tílẹ̀ ti gbẹ. Àwọn fúnra wọn, the indigenous now come together, not the educated folks. The indigenous people come together and now try to revive their own land and get their land back the way it should be. Wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tó ń plan again. Nǹkan tí mo ní white travel far gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìwé tí mo kọ at my 70th birthday, white travel far. Ibi tí mo travel far dé sí, mo wá rí òye ní pé nǹkan tí ó yẹ kí àwa máa ṣe, ká emphasize lé lórí, òun ni pé kí a padà sílé láti jẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n ń bí sí ní ẹ̀kọ́ tí àwa ní, òye tí a ní. I think Dr. Olopolo sọ̀rọ̀ lórí awareness. Yes, education. That is key. Ibi tí mo travel wá yìí, owó tí mo fi travel bá ká ní mo ní àǹfààní ní kí n máa ní alternative ní pé màá ní kí n fi ránṣẹ́ sílé, torí mo mọ̀ pé máa wúlò fáwọn tó máa ní ìdí ẹ̀. But àǹfààní tó fún mi ní pé ó jẹ́ kí n rí àwọn kan tó jẹ́ kí wọ́n ní like mind. I give you an example of what just happened. 1 to 9 Awolowo Road used to be the School of Nursing where my wife went in the 70s. Àwọn tí ó jáde kúrò ń bẹ̀ tí wọ́n dẹ̀ rí mọ̀ pé wọ́n lose property yẹn fún government, ni wọ́n transfer wọn lọ sí Igando somewhere else. Wọ́n dẹ̀ rí mọ̀ pé àwọn ọmọ tó wà ní Igando ń sìn fúnra wọn náà sanwó school, fúnra wọn náà sanwó transportation lọ sí school, fúnra wọn náà gbogbo yẹn dẹ̀ ní government make available fún àwọn nígbà táwọn wà ń bẹ̀. So wọ́n wá fi ṣe nǹkan tó jẹ́ gbòógì láàrin wọn wípé kí àwọn máa dá owó nígbà táwọn ní opportunity being outside Nigeria láti máa sponsor èèyàn méjì mẹ́ta nínú àwọn student so that kán fún wọn ní scholarship. Mo ní àǹfààní láti mú àwọn write-up tí wọ́n máa ń ṣe in the last 3 years. Mo ní àǹfààní láti pẹ̀lú àwọn tí ó ń review write-ups wọ̀nyẹn tí wọ́n fi ń qualify àwọn bíi méjì mẹ́ta nínú wọn. But to my greatest surprise, ní event tí wọ́n ṣe lánàá tí wọ́n rò pé àwọn lè gba bí 100,000, they raised almost $200,000 fún not just 3, for almost 40 plus students. So mo believe wípé agbára tí a ní in the diaspora, we can use that more often. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ọ̀rọ̀ politics sí, àwọn èèyàn kan ló ń ṣe wá, àwọn èèyàn kan gbogbo ká develop àwọn ọmọ wa tó máa lè bá ṣe ń ṣe fún àwọn the young politicians that are growing up now tán rí mọ̀ pé má dárúkọ wípé lágbájá ìwà tó hù ní ìgbà tó jẹ́ president America, so ẹni báyìí ló yẹ ká múlẹ̀ ń sìn. So nílé náà àwọn ọmọ tí a fi sílẹ̀ ń lé torí wọn ò ní òye tí àwa nígbà tá a máa kúrò, òye tá a ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí, we have overemphasized too much on the knowledge we have. How do we channel such knowledge to the young ones growing up, especially àwọn ọmọ tó wà nílé? Torí ẹni tó bá ní àǹfààní láti lọ sílé á mọ̀ pé nǹkan ti yàtọ̀. Gbogbo nǹkan táwa ń sọ yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé à ń sọ èdè tó yà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé we are in a different world ni ló jẹ́ fún àwọn. Torí àwọn bàbá tó bí wọn gan ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní òye ẹ̀. Tàbá kàn lẹ́ ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé ṣé lóòótọ́ ni kìíní ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣá, nǹkan ti yàtọ̀ pátápátá. Ọmọ tí ò rí 1,000 tí ò rí 10,000 fi sanwó JAMB, báwo ni o ṣe lè ní tẹ́ẹ̀dílẹ̀ fún ẹni àwọn tó ní wọ́n ṣe 419 àbí kí ni wọ́n ń pe àwọn tó ń lo tí wọ́n ń lo fóònù láti fi Yahoo, whether Yahoo or Yahoo Plus.
Yahoo.
Yes, Yahoo. Ẹ rí àwọn experience táwọn ọmọ wa obìnrin ní because they are so vulnerable.
Yeah.
But tí a bá ní àǹfààní àwọn èèyàn tó fún wọn ní owó tó support wọn, wọ́n á ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe. Then irú education tán ní á fún wọn ní better exposure láti carry àwọn nǹkan kan tí àwa ní lọ́kàn láti ṣe kán bá wa máa ṣe. Torí mi ò mọ béèyàn mẹ́ta ṣe ń rìn méjì méjì. Bóyá máa fi kí n dáwọ́ dúró ní ibi tí mo sọ̀rọ̀ dé yẹn torí ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó ká mi lára. And like I have always expressed, I have an existing condition tí ò lè jẹ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ púpọ̀. Oorun náà ní kí n máa sùn sí, bóyá yẹ kí n máa sùn sí yìí so that kí n lè ní àǹfààní láti ṣe púpọ̀ mọ́. So ire o, Kẹ́mi Ọláògùn.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kalejaye. Òótọ́ lẹ sọ, you're very, very correct. Àmọ́ a lè kọ́ ọmọ, a lè fún ọmọ ní ẹja, á jẹun ọjọ́ kan ọjọ́ méjì. Ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá kọ́ ọmọ bó ti lè pa ẹja, á jẹun for a lifetime.
Nǹkan tí mo sọ gan nìyẹn.
So we need to find a way to teach our people how to do things. Ìyẹn ẹ̀kọ́ ìkejì dẹ̀ tún ni pé Yorùbá náà ló máa ń sọ pé tí ọmọdé bá ṣubú á wo wájú, tí àgbà bá ṣubú á wẹ̀yìn. Tá a bá wo bí ta ti ń bọ̀, for instance, tá a bá mọ bí òyìnbó ti sọ owó ẹyọ wa di nothing, tí wọ́n tún wá ní 1986 tí wọ́n tún sọ náírà wa di $4 to $1. Unless we understand, tá a bá understand ìyẹn, ó máa ṣòro fún wa. We have to see where we came from. We have to see what happened to us. We have to understand pé àwọn people nǹkan tó máa ṣe fún wa lélẹ́yìí kápá àmọ́ ní àti ẹ̀níjẹ́ wọn ṣe. That in itself is all. Kì í kó bóyá kí èèyàn bí sí wọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìbínú kan lélẹ́yìí. You have to know that way going forward, one will know how to navigate the present and navigate the future. Ẹ ṣé gan, you're very correct.
Olótù,
ẹjọ kó tó di pé bàbá sọ̀rọ̀ mi ò fẹ́ kí ká má ṣàìwo ibi tí mo sọ pé bóyá mi ò ní àǹfààní láti sọ̀rọ̀ tán kì í ṣe pé bóyá ẹ rí mọ̀ pé ṣe ni àwọn tí à ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ yìí ibi tí wọ́n ti gbé wa ṣubú kì í ṣàwa nìkan ṣo ni wọ́n gbé àwọn èèyàn ṣubú káàkiri especially ní Áfíríkà ẹ má jẹ́ ká gbàgbé.
Asia also, Asia
torí Yorùbá tí a fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ó ní àwọn amúdẹ̀mọ̀ ipá àwọn kan máa ní lè translate ẹ̀ fún àwọn ẹni ibi tó wà lẹ́yìn wa ní Áfíríkà. The third eye ẹ gbọ́ nípa àwọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí medical personnel àwọn oògùn kan tí wọ́n ní wọ́n fún àwọn àgbẹ̀ wa tí wọ́n máa lò so that ó máa destroy nǹkan oko wọn àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́ fi pa wá lára kí àwọn èèyàn wa tó jẹ́ èèyàn dúdú kan bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní máa kú so that káwọn lè ní access sí àwọn resources wa because we are good for nothing. But the knowledge tí àwa tí a ní ní diaspora ní ẹ jẹ́ ká gba ẹ̀yìn káwa náà ká fi nǹkan òye tí a ní ká túbọ̀ fi ran ara wa lọ́wọ́ ìyẹn ni mo ṣe fi ní àkórapọ̀ gbogbo wa lórí platform irú kọmitì tí a máa ní tí a gbé kalẹ̀ nǹkan ribiribi tí a lè ṣe ó pọ̀ tó máa jẹ́ àǹfààní fún wa níbí pàápàá àǹfààní fún àwọn tó wà nílé so àwọn nǹkan tí mo rò yìí pé bóyá a lè fi energy wa sí nìyẹn lọ́nà tó jẹ́ pé ó máa help wa níbí àti nílé pàápàá ní ọjọ́ iwájú wa ẹ ṣeun.
Ẹ ṣé gan, thank you very much. Prof, ó dà ẹni pé ẹ fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan.
Jẹ́mi tí ẹ ti gbàgbé nǹkan tó.
Sorry.
Àwọn Àwórì wọ́n mọ gbàdúrà kan.
Ṣé àwọn tó níjẹ̀bú accent láàrin wọn lẹ́ ń sọ yẹn?
Ó lè jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n ní kọ́lọ́run kọ́ wa mọ̀ ọ́n ṣe.
Àmín. Àmín.
Àwọn Àwórì ló mọ gbàdúrà bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn.
Ẹ ṣé.
Kọ́lọ́run kọ́ wa mọ̀ ọ́n ṣe ni.
Ẹ̀kọ́ àgbà.
Torí pé tí a ò bá mọ ibi tí a bá tiẹ̀ mọ̀ ibi tí bàtà ti ń ta wá lẹ́sẹ̀ báwo la ṣe máa mọ bá a ṣe máa fi òrírá.
Exactly.
Nǹkan tí Prince Kadejaye ń sọ ni pé we must know what is wrong with us but kì í ṣe pé ká fi mọ ká sọ dìjà ká fi kẹ́kọ̀ọ́.
Exactly.
Ẹ̀kọ́ tá a bá wá kọ́ ń bẹ̀ mo ti rántí tí mo fẹ́ sọ. Ṣé ẹ rí dókítà ọlọ́pọlọ?
Yes, sir.
Wọ́n lọ sí gbọ̀ngàn láti lọ kọ́ Yorùbá. Ara nǹkan tó yìnbó ṣe fún wa tí ò gbé wa nìyẹn. Wọ́n rò pé skul la ti ń kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá fọ̀ ní Gẹ̀ẹ́sì, there is a difference between schooling and education.
Correct.
Schooling is organized, is controlled by an authority, government. It is planned learning methods. If you don't go to school, you have difficulty studying the solution of quadratic equations. So, kí la fẹ́ sọ nípa ẹ̀? Nǹkan tó o bá kọ́ ní school, something is learnt in school, but it's just schooling knowledge. You have to mix it with social wisdom in order to mature into education.
Exactly.
Ṣé ń gbọ́ mi?
Àgbọ́yé.
Ní wọ́n ṣe máa ń pọ̀wé kan ní gbọ̀ngàn, wọ́n ní à ń kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ẹbí ẹ̀ ń kọ́lé òògbọ́. That is, school is about building knowledge. But you can try to build. But when education happens, you will see it in people. The knowledge of school will be there. The wisdom of society will be there. Juxtamixed to produce a person. So, a gba ìmọ̀ràn ó yẹ ká gba ìmọ̀ràn Prince Kalẹ̀jáyé pé káyé ọ̀rọ̀ pé wọ́n ti fi ìjọba ìṣọ̀rọ̀ àtẹnumọ́ràn ọ̀rọ̀ ìfikọ́walẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ni ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀kọ́ yẹn a gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kó kú òwájú wa torí a gbọ́dọ̀ gbé ọgbọ́n àwọn èèyàn wa ká dàpọ̀ mọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ yẹn láti fi wá ìlọsíwájú fún àwọn èèyàn wa. So ibi tí mo bá lọ nìyẹn mo rò pé I continue to beg because if I compare eléyìí ò kì í sọ̀rọ̀ ìgbéraga o. If I compare with people whose knowledge of history was limited to what was taught in the classroom, because the classroom is schooling, and they taught you only what they want you to know for their own purpose. But if you decide to stretch your knowledge of history beyond what is taught in the classroom, you will take the Modern Geography, Book 1, Foundation of Geography, tó sọ fún wa tí wọ́n ti mọ̀ in the 50s pé àwọn Fúlàní ló wọ Northern Nigeria tí wọ́n wá gbalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wa tí wọ́n wá lógun tiwa tí wọ́n sọ wá di kìíní àwọn òyìnbó sì wà lẹ́yìn wọn wọ́n ti mọ̀ yẹn since the 50s. Bọ̀ kì í ṣe classroom ni wọ́n ti kọ́ mi níyẹn o. Ìwé tí wọ́n ti kọ́ mi tí wọ́n ti mú DMB fi kọ́ mi gbogbo yòókù ni mo lọ kà èyí tí wọ́n kọ́ wa mo lọ kà. And that's what I want us to do, and that's what we want to make our children do. Tábà máa gbára wálẹ̀.
Those bastards. Thank you, Baba. So basically, nǹkan tí ẹ̀ ń sọ ni pé we must be educated, but at the same time, we must learn and we must perfect the art, A-R-T, the art of applying that knowledge to daily affairs.
Yeah. We must be schooled. We must be schooled. Because there's no alternative to schooling. There are too many technical things that they teach at school that cannot be taught at home. But what we must add to education, to schooling, to make it education, is the philosophical goal of our society. To turn that knowledge into cultural utility.
Absolutely. Very well said, sir. Eshengo, the last person for today, because Ojo yen lo, mi ko mori yen ko bi olóòtú ni.
Ojo oni lọ́tún.
Mr. 934-520-67770.
Ọlọ́ngbà yẹn.
Ọjọ́ nọ́mbà Trump o.
No, ó fẹ́ jẹ́ nọ́mbà Trump bẹ́ẹ̀ kì í ṣe ti Trump lélẹ́yìí.
Nọ́mbà Trump.
Trump ò gbọ́ Yorùbá o.
Alàgbà, ṣé ẹ náwó yín sókè? Ṣé are you ready to talk?
Nọ́mbà Trump.
Ó lè jẹ́ obìnrin ẹ̀dẹ̀ pé lálàgbà.
Obìnrin ò ṣe alàgbà ni. Obìnrin náà lè jẹ́ alàgbà náà.
Okay.
Sir or madam, ṣé
ẹ bá sọ fún wọn pé kán kọ orúkọ wọn.
Maybe he's muted.
Yẹn ní ìbá ti dà. Wọ́n wà muted. The person with the
he's muted.
Up.
Oh, Bùnmi.
Could you please
Bùnmi kì í ṣe Bùnmi. Ẹ bá ní kán kọ orúkọ wọn kó tó di pé ẹ pè wọ́n.
He was left a message on the chat.
They did what?
He left a message on the chat.
On the chart. Okay.
That's Bùnmi. Oh, they left a message on the chat.
Maybe Tony just spoke.
Oh, I see.
Okay, when he left a message on the charts.
He's got his hand up now.
Charts.
No,
one gentleman no fi orúkọ wọn sórí chat and I can't seem to find.
Oh, you left a message.
Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you now.
Olugiwa, please.
Olugiwa ara.
Yes,
ṣàlàyé ni.
Adúpẹ́ sà. Ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta sà. Ẹ ra sà.
Ṣé lè gbúrò yín?
Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ẹ kú àgbà. Ọ̀gá o. ẹ̀dẹ̀ kú àforítì ọlọ́run á wà pẹ̀lú gbogbo wa o.
àmì ò ẹ ṣeun.
ilẹ̀ yorùbá tòrò lágbára ọlọ́run
àmì ẹ̀ pọ̀.
a ó bọ́ lóko ẹrú tá a wà yìí o lágbára jésù.
àmì ẹ̀ pọ̀ àwa náà
a
ni.
ti ń jẹ ajá ìbọ̀ ó ti pẹ́.
ó ti pẹ́.
ṣùgbọ́n a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́run ibi tá a bá a dé.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
ṣùgbọ́n ìyà náà kò tí ì débi nǹkan rárá. nítorí pé ní nàìjíríà ń sìn àwa yorùbá ní gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù àwa náà ń gbógun tì.
àwọn ni ó dojú kọ.
gbogbo wọn fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀ wa wọ́n tẹ̀ ti gba ilẹ̀ wa tán. èyí tó tún ṣe ń sìn ni pé ọgbọ́n tó máa fi gba ilẹ̀ wọ́n ń fẹ́ àwọn ọmọ wa wọ́n kàn ń bá wọn sùn wọ́n kàn ń bímọ àwọn tó máa bí Ìgbò yorùbá haúsá gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n ti lineage wa DNA wa wọ́n ti dilute ẹ̀. so nígbà tí àwọn ọmọ wa bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń jẹ́ Ibrahim kìnnìkan ṣe kìnnìkan báwo la ṣe máa sọ pé wọ́n ṣe yorùbá báwo la ṣe máa sọ pé wọ́n ní ẹ̀tọ́ sí ilẹ̀ àbí nǹkan tó ń fẹ́ nílẹ̀ wa nítorí náà gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ yorùbá ń sìn a need láti ṣe àròyé a ní láti think very severely ká bá àwọn èèyàn wa tó wà lé ká bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ torí tẹ́ bá dé gbogbo ilẹ̀ yorùbá ń sìn ìbáàjẹ́ Ondo state ni o ìbáàjẹ́ anywhere in the Yorùbá land àwọn àjòjì wọ́n ti gba ilẹ̀ wa pátápátá nítorí pé àwọn èèyàn wa owó tí ó jẹ àràbà wọn tábàdé máa ro ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn àwọn tó ń ṣe ìjọba ní ìlú wa àwọn ló impoverish àwọn èèyàn wa wọn ò jẹ́ káwọn youth wa wọn ò lówó wọn ò níṣẹ́ wọn ò ní nǹkan kan àwọn tó kàwé wọn ò ríṣẹ́ ṣe so nígbà tí wọn bá lówó lọ́wọ́ anybody wọn wà vulnerable for anybody to just come to them as a prey àwọn ọmọ wa wọn ń bá wọn sùn lójoojúmọ́ ni àwọn tó bá gbogbo ilé ilẹ̀ tó wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wọn ti rà á tán tó pa àwọn ọmọ èkó wọn kíá tó bá ti talẹ̀ wọn á fi gbogbo wọn á fi oríṣiríṣi wọn á máa lọ di ẹni tó ń yálé gbé tẹ́ bá dé ìsàlẹ̀ kó ń sìn ibi tó jẹ́ pride of Lagos gbogbo ẹ̀ náà àwọn ìbò ti gbà wọ́n ti sọ di shop so kí ni tó fa eléyìí báwo la ṣe máa yọrọ wa nínú ihò tá a kú sí i ìyẹn gan ló ṣe kókó lọ́rọ̀ ilẹ̀ yorùbá ń sìn ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan tó múnú mi dùn pé àwọn èèyàn ti ń wà aware of what is going on even nílé wọ́n ti ń mọ̀ so wọ́n ti nǹkan tí election ti 2023 yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tán fi na aṣíwájú lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mo rò pé ìyẹn kọ́ wọn lọ́gbọ́n díẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n àwọn èèyàn ò tí ì gbà pé our endanger yorùbá is an endangered species bọ́lọ́n ṣe dá wa kò sí nǹkan tí ọlọ́run fi fún wa nílẹ̀ yorùbá kò sí ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn dúdú yorùbá lọ́lọ́run ìdálọ́lá jù ní ti ọpọlọ ni ní ti ilẹ̀ ni ní ti àlùmọ́ọ́nì ilẹ̀ ni gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ́lọ́run fún wa ṣùgbọ́n a lò láti help ara wa ní nàìjíríà ní yorùbá a uplift àwọn èèyàn wa ó yẹ ká máa tọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa ká máa jẹ́ kó mọ̀ pé ọ̀la àwọn ló ní ọ̀la nígbà tá a bá ti lọ kí la fẹ́ fi ilẹ̀ fún wọn ṣé kó máa ráhùn kiri kó máa rìn kiri títì láti wá nǹkan tó máa jẹ gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wọn ti wọlé tọ̀ wá lẹ́yìn wọn yorùbá ní problem nàìjíríà ń sìn gbogbo ilẹ̀ gbogbo nàìjíríà ló hit yorùbá torí kí ni torí nǹkan tó lọ́n ṣe fún wa nítorí náà bá ṣe máa yọra wa nú nǹkan tó ń fi wá sí yìí ni bá ṣe máa yọra nǹkan tó ń fi wá sí yìí ni.
They don't go to redeem, they go to...
Okay, on that note, Eshegon, Mr. Giwa, Olugiwa, I think your phone is temporarily muted. Tabali on mute, Ibada. But if you're done with your I'll move on.
I'm not done.
Okay, you're muted right now. Continue.
Yeah. Okay. Kókó ọ̀rọ̀ tí ìyá wa yèyé fi sọ pé kí n wá sórí ètò eléyìí nípa ti immigration. So but ó jọ pé nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ń sìn ó ti ju immigration ti Amẹ́ríkà lọ torí nǹkan tí mo bá ń tẹ́ ń sọ yẹn ó jẹ́ nǹkan tó jẹ́ kókó fún mi gan-an. Nǹkan tá a torí ń jà láti jọ́ ìní nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àwọn alàgbà wa Professor Adébóyè wọ́n mọ̀ gbogbo meeting tá a ti ń ṣe ní ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá láti 94 títí dì sí tá a bá lọ ọbẹ̀ nǹkan tèmi máa ń sọ fún ọ ni pé àwọn ará Èkó ẹ kíyèsára torí àwọn haúsá gbogbo málà gbogbo wọn ti wọ èkó wọn dẹ̀ gbogbo wọn kò dẹ̀ sínú wọn tó ń rìn tí ò ní dágà lọ́wọ́ kò sọ̀nà tí wọ́n mọ̀ ní gbogbo ìsàlẹ̀ èkó ní everywhere in Lagos so táwọn pípọ̀ ìbá wa jáde sí wa kí wọ́n fẹ́ bá wa jà kí la fẹ́ ṣe Yorùbá ti fira ńlẹ̀ jù ọmọlúwàbí yẹn ó wá sọ wá di wọ́n sọ wá di àwọn táwọn èèyàn rò pé àgbọ́n ṣùgbọ́n Yorùbá gbọ́n Ọlọ́run fún wa lọ́gbọ́n fún wa lóye àti ìmọ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ẹ má jẹ́ kí ọmọlúwàbí wa yìí ó ti ń pọ̀ jù à ń láti dìde láti jà fún ara wa nítorí àwọn ọmọ wa tó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn torí tó bá dọjọ́ iwájú wọn máa wò pé Mr. Giwashi bí ọmọ bíi báyìí báyìí ni ọmọ ẹ̀ lélẹ̀ kínní àwọn ọmọ wa máa dá wa lẹ́bi pé kí la ń ṣe nígbà tí gbogbo eléyìí ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nítorí náà eléyìí wọn la ń guide against nígbà tá a fi dá ẹgbẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ńlẹ̀ pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá yìí kì í ṣe pé a fẹ́ ìjà tá ń jà kì í ṣe pé a gbowó lọ́wọ́ ẹnìkan àwa la ná gbogbo àwa tá ń travel tá ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ká lè jẹ àpárá wa là nílẹ̀ Yorùbá kí a má di ẹrú ní ìlú wa ká má di ẹni tó máa yálẹ̀ gbà ní ìlú wa nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà gan nìyẹn sìn Yorùbá ni gan òun ni the focus of all Nigerians nísìn bí àwọn Ìgbò ṣe ń wá láti bá wa jà ní àwọn north náà gbogbo everybody even àwọn tó wáyà lẹ́nu pé àwọn Bendels àwọn Benin tó yẹ pé wọ́n tẹ̀sùn relate mọ́ wa díẹ̀ relate wọn fi hate Yorùbá sí kò ṣeé sọ so we are in the midst of our enemies wọ́n surround wa everywhere ni so how do we get out of this predicament that is my main concern so ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ọkàn ro ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ká find the solution a lè find solution lẹ́nu nìkan gẹ́gẹ́ bá a ṣe sọ sà àwọn tó wà nílé wọ́n need awareness because the people are too loose they don't know what is going on wọn ò rí nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ wọ́n kàn fi pé wẹ́ life continues but it's deeper than that these people have agenda against Yoruba people they want to take our land they want to take everything we have even by force right now they are using all kinds of tactics mingling marrying and all those things gbogbo nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn they are planned kì í ṣe pé ó kàn déédéé ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ni gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wa tó ń fẹ́ǹsìn ní Èkó everywhere they know what they are doing they want to take possession of our land and everything that we have wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí Yorùbá parun but láéláé Yorùbá ò lè parun nígbà tá a ti parun nígbà Abacha àì máa wà títí láéláé nítorí ìran tí Ọlọ́run ti lọ́wọ́ sí ni Ọlọ́run ló dálẹ̀ Yorùbá bí a ṣe wà bọ́lọ́run ṣe dá wa tá a bá ní a fẹ́ máa kó gbogbo àwọn dúdú tó wà láyé ká kó wọn lẹ́rú a lè kó wọn torí alọ́gbọ́n tó yẹ a ní ìmọ̀ tó yẹ a ní gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fi fún wa tó yẹ ṣùgbọ́n Yorùbá à ń ṣe greedy we are just nǹkan tá à ń fẹ́ fúnra wa la fẹ́ fún gbogbo èèyàn tó wà ní Nàìjíríà freedom for everybody but àwọn èèyàn eléyìí they are coming in with their secret agenda as long tá a bá ti mọ agenda wọn a máa mọ̀ bá ṣe máa takùn wọn that is my submission ẹ ṣé sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir.
Ẹ ṣé gan-an ni.
All right, sir.
Any comment, Ọ̀túnba?
Well, from my own experiences, all the suggestions on board are very good, very crucial, very germane to our problems. But how do we get our people together? About me, because at the end of the day, we want to put it into use, and that's need an arrangement how to do it. We need to be together. We need to be able to start with our way openly, clandestinely. But we have a situation where we don't unless on meeting meji ni yóò yà wá lára ilé iṣẹ́ gbogbo la mọ̀ àyìnlá kó jẹ́ meeting pé a fẹ́ discuss àṣẹ bí a fẹ́ discuss nínú party a fẹ́ ṣe sí. I have nothing against anybody's these are things so and as long as tó jẹ́ pé ẹni àwọn committee ni priorities wa our progress our module operandi and method to approach and resolve our problem will continue to linger because we are just back per meeting. Then I can tell everybody here, I can per meeting by resolve work on you. If they expect you be mewa, you'll be lucky if everybody and better. the other around mẹ́ta tó kù sí á jẹ́ pé time tẹ́ bá fẹ́ close. Eléyìí is not a personal thing. It's not kì í ṣe èébú, kì í ṣe ìjà, kì í ṣe, but this is exactly what our problems are. You know. So again, I want to thank everybody for listening to our presentation today. And mo kí gbogbo ilé.
Okay, ṣe gan-an ni. Any final comment, Prof?
Inú mi dùn ta rọrọ̀ sọ lónìí.
Ẹ ṣe gan-an.
Mo dúpẹ́ o. Òwúrọ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ẹ ṣeun.
Ẹ ṣe. Thank you. Bàbá Bankole. Okay, well.
Ẹ ṣé gan-an, Adélé Olótù.
Yes, sir.
Ẹ ṣeun gidigidi fún ètò tí ẹ à ń kọ̀ lẹ́nìí. A dúpẹ́ gidigidi lọ́wọ́ yín, ẹ ṣeun. Mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn tó wá náà láti ṣe àtótónu lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Mo rò bí ẹ̀kan lágbàlá kọ́lé yìí. Kọ́lọ́run Olódùmarè kó fún wa ṣe nílẹ̀ Yorùbá wa.
Ẹ ṣé o, láṣẹ Èdùmàrè, ẹ ṣé o. So on that note, if
Bameto, can I say something, please?
But of course.
Adaju, yeah. I say gone with all the presentations. Yeah. The question that lingers on is there. In order to support and continue Otunba saying so. Say my trust is there. We don't trust each other. Love, when you use the word, I mean, to use it the way it's supposed to be used. Too. For example, sin kala meta ati agree loading to eka se pe báyìí ló eka rìn bóyá ló kárìn. I bet you láàárín àwọn mẹ́ta yẹn tó bá jẹ́ tó against the government ní ààrẹ nìkan ní wa tó máa lọ hint the government pé you know what lágbájá doing this. À ń gbẹ́ra wa lẹ́sẹ̀, à ń fira wa gbókùn nítorí n ta fẹ́ jẹ àti n ta fẹ́ jẹ. Why struggling for leadership? Why don't we spy this thing and get away from these people that are trying to run us over? Kásẹ̀ máa ṣètò wa ní ká lé ẹlẹ́ran lọ́nà ká wá fàbọ̀ bá díẹ̀ àbí ká lé kọ̀lọ̀kọ̀lọ̀ ká wá fẹ́ bàbá adìẹ. Why don't we work towards that goal? What's stopping us? That's the problem. And that's why I say trust. We don't trust each other. And then we don't believe in each other. Afemi, egocentricity is dealing with us. How do we solve those problems? Please. It's part of it. And it's the major thing. It's the major thing. We know the ways. Well, what are we doing with brain that don't do something that will be beneficial to nearly everybody?
Okay, Eshigoni. One answer to Mukwale may not be the answer you're looking for, and it's not even an answer. I wish there's a better answer. But the answer, we Yorubas, we have been traumatized over the past many years. Trauma, slavery, trauma, colonialism, trauma, neocolonialism. Unless we deal with them, we find very strong social scientists among us to educate at a primary level, everybody might easily understand. Thereby, our child raising techniques are changed. Egocentricity tells you narcissism, another name for it. How do we bring up children who are not narcissistic, overtly narcissistic? Because all human beings have a certain degree of narcissism in them, can't really function properly as adults. But excessive narcissism, so Trump, for instance, that Trump type narcissism, afemi, yeah, they're all functions of narcissism. They range from narcissism to malignant narcissism. How do we prevent children? How do we prevent our children from being raised in an environment to induce those of us among us who are knowledgeable about these things, we need to sit down, or they need to sit down and form committees. Committee show off. So put something on paper go inside the room, think about these things, put something in paper, find our writers to my call in a way to my easily acceptable to people, to my easily digested. Those are the things we have to do. Unless we do that, look, accidents do not occur. Accidents are road plans that were not properly planned. You see, they are, sorry, I'm trying to mute whoever that one is, where the noise was coming from. Anyway, so I'm going to share concerted effort. I'm going to Joko, mo sọ̀rọ̀ bí Àwórì. So we must. And those of us who think we could be part of this, let's volunteer our time. Nobody's getting paid a single half kobo, ekpini. Sit down for Yoruba land. Let's put something on paper. Let's see how the next generation, how we can encourage the next generation to be better than the last generation. So, answer to Queenie may not be the type of answer you're looking for.
Gbogbo wa la ní la ń ronú bákan náà. Method ló kù bẹ́ẹ̀. Gbogbo wa la ní la mọ̀ pé ọ̀nà tá à ń gbé lọ yìí kì í sọ̀nà tó péye. Ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀nà wo la wá fẹ́ gbé gbà? 1,000 different paths line themselves. Àbẹ̀lẹ́yìí ni. Àbẹ̀lẹ́yìí yẹn òun láti máa ń sà fún. We know what is fundamentally wrong. But the way out of that is not a way. It's many possibilities that suggest themselves. Meanwhile, ó lè jẹ́ pé kan nínú wọn ló máa péye bọ̀ àmọ́ we must be careful not to substitute our feeling of what is right with knowledge of what is right. We must work together and agree on what path to tread. If we don't do it, we'll be angry. No, we'll be wasting time competing with different methods, none of which is certain. It's not like if we get together and find a path it is certain, it will at least be the responsibility. We will all accept responsibility for choosing that path.
Ibi tí multi-discipline committee máa fi come hand in here kò í ṣe.
Yeah. So ibi tẹ́mi rò mo gbàdúrà ó ní pé ká má bínú síra wa.
That's right.
Torí if you want something to be angry about, we have plenty of them. Why? Torí pé a ti bọ́rọ̀ ìbọn ọ̀nà jí náà wọ́n ti sọ wá dolórí burúkú ti pẹ́, and we are confused. And then now, I want to take you back to America. It's been a quote-unquote democracy for 238 years. Corruption sì wà ń bẹ̀ kẹnu. Ó lè gba structure wà ń bẹ̀ tí ò ṣe é fẹnu sọ.
No doubt.
Bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, mo ti gbé bí for 50 years, mo ráṣìírí wọn. Ẹ̀fúùfù fẹ́ àrídìí adìẹ. Nǹkan tí wọ́n ní táwa ò ní, ó ní pé wọn ò kì í forí jìn àwọn èèyàn tó bá ṣẹ̀ tí ọwọ́ bá bá. Wọ́n ní ẹni tó jalè, ẹni tí wọ́n mú lólè. So ọ̀nà bí wọn ò ṣe ní rí yẹn mú is buried in corruption látọ̀dọ̀ ọlọ́pàá, látọ̀dọ̀ sójà, látọ̀dọ̀ politician. Corruption kún bí ìkágbọ̀n àfi tá a bá dúdú wa ló kù.
Bàrà o.
Ọlọ́pàá ò dá dúró lórí títì kò ní kó mú sílẹ̀ méjì wá o. Their corruption is at a higher level than that. But corruption kágbọ̀n. Olè jíjà kágbọ̀n. Ìmọ̀tara ẹni nìkan kágbọ̀n. It's just that gbogbo wọ̀nyẹn nígbà tí wọ́n ti rí wa fá lórí tí wọ́n rí wa fọ̀dà kún. Wọ́n practice it at a higher non-visible elevation. The bad thing is there. The visibility is not obvious because it's on a different plane. They are fundamentally human like the rest of us. And then kí ló tí wọ́n fi wà high torí pé wọ́n ti rí nǹkan kó jẹ lọ́dọ̀ wa so that the ordinary person the daily basis ebi ò pa wọ́n ti ṣe gbogbo yẹn àwa lẹbi ń pa wọ́n ti kó wa lẹ́rú ẹni tó sì lẹ́rù ló lẹ́rù. So wọ́n ti fi nǹkan tó ra wọn ṣe èyí tí wọ́n ń jà nígbà nísìnyí nǹkan tí wọ́n rí kó wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ wa kò tó tàtijọ́ mọ́. So nǹkan ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe wọ́n tí ò kì í ṣe wọ́n tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ but àwa tá a mọ Europe more than 50 years ago a mọ̀ pé kò rọgbọ. The parts of Europe tẹ́mi mọ̀ kì í ṣe pé nǹkan wọ́n mú kẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́. I was in Belgium in 1969. Gbogbo ìjákujàku tó ń ṣe wọ́n níbi tó ti ń ṣe wọ́n mo mọ̀. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá fa gbogbo àwọn Congo àti Rwanda àti Burundi lórí tó ń kẹ́rù lọ sí Belgium. Wọ́n ṣe kéré tó tí wọ́n ṣe rí nǹkan fàmọ́ra tó. Síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ akúṣẹ̀ ti pọ̀ láàrin wọn bẹ̀.
That's right.
So ẹ jẹ́ ká wá ọ̀nà tá a fi máa tún tiwa ṣe. Tá a bá dẹ̀rọ oníbàjẹ́ láàrin wa bá a bá wàásù tí ò bá gbọ́ ká gbé nǹkan gbẹ̀yìn rẹ̀ lọ kì í ṣe pé à ń lọ pa ọ́ àbẹ́ à ń lọ finá jókòó ẹ̀ o à ń lọ ṣe nǹkan tó dáa tó máa compete pẹ̀lú tí ò dáa tó ń ṣe. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé ògo Yorùbá yọ culture Yorùbá o ni mo fẹ́ ká gbé yọ ká máa fi owó wa ká máa fi ra léèsì tá a fi máa ránṣọ ká máa yẹ̀dí bùkébùké. It is not our culture that we are projecting now. It is our stupidity, our greed.
Yeah.
Kí àwọn China kó jẹ́ àwọn ló ń hun sányán. Owó tá a fi máa ra sányán lọ́dọ̀ China kò tó iye tá à ń san fún húnsọ ní Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. So a ṣe yẹn. A sọ pé mi ni bó bá ṣe wù mí mo ṣe ná. It's a stupidity. Owó tó yẹ ká invest in the development of the land. Kí làwọn India ṣe gbara wọn lẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì? Kí ni China ṣe gbara wọn lẹ̀? Kí ni Vietnam ṣe gbara wọn lẹ̀? I'm talking of economically and emotionally.
Yeah.
Àbí kò sí corruption nílẹ̀ wọn ni corruption kágbọ̀n ní China corruption kágbọ̀n ní India mo débẹ̀ rí corruption kágbọ̀n everywhere kì í ṣe yẹn. Èyí tí ó wà níbẹ̀ ni pé common commitment to their culture to their emotional and cultural salvation, not mo fẹ́ di àjókòyìnbó. It is our own inferiority complex. As good as we have gotten addicted to inferiority complex to jẹ́ pé tóyìnbó ò bá tí fọwọ́ sí kò dáa tó lójú wa we must struggle for it because a fẹ́ dòyìnbó ọlá dòyìnbó ògùn dòyìnbó. Mo ní ọ̀rẹ́ tí jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ o mi ò fi insult wọn but mo kàn sọ ara nǹkan tá a gbọ́dọ̀ correct láàrin ara wa nìyí. Ẹ ṣé.
Okay o thank you very much. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ta ni fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀? Ó dà pé mo ń gbọ́ sound kan. Okay. All right. On that note, it's 7 o'clock. 4 minutes to 7. Coast. Mo dẹ̀ pé lọ́dọ̀ àwọn Londoner lọ́hùn yẹn, ó ti di 4 minutes to midnight. So, ẹ ṣégun everybody.
Ẹ ṣeun.
Ta ni wọ́n ní olóòtú yèyé kọ? Prof. Olùkọ́ ilẹ̀ mọ̀ ọkọ̀ ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ ẹ̀ lìdò.
Ṣé tí mo sọ pé ọjọ́ òní lọ́tàn.
Ìyẹn nìkan kọ́, ó rántí wá ń sọ mí nípa
ilẹ̀ rẹ o.
Ilẹ̀ rẹ ó ní mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yèyé mi o àtúwá ó kọ́ mi láṣà mo jèrè àṣà ó kọ́ mi ní kíní kí mo jèrè rẹ̀ ibi tó bá wà lónìí.
Má ṣòfófó fún wọn pé ẹ mọ̀.
Bàbá a ti ní ẹ lọ kọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn o.
Ẹ̀wọ̀n ọ̀kọ́lẹ̀ fún mi nì. kò kí ló wá ṣẹ́bi nìkan lọ́wọ́ máa kọ̀ kí ló ṣe yóò kọ́ ṣé gbogbo wa là wá bí yìí. apá ẹ̀yìn amòye ó yẹ kẹ́.
Gbọ̀ngàn súnmọ́ Ìbàdàn ni nítorí yẹn la ní.
Gbọ̀ngàn ló ní Ìbàdàn ló súnmọ́ gbọ̀ngàn. Gbọ̀ngàn ò súnmọ́ Ìbàdàn ló súnmọ́ gbọ̀ngàn.
Ilẹ̀ rẹ ni fún màmá fún ìyá gbogbo wa tó ti lọ.
Ilẹ̀ rẹ ni fún màmá olóbì so.
Ẹ jẹ́ gbogbo sọ pé ilẹ̀ rí lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà ìyẹn bẹ́tà.
Ilẹ̀ rẹ ni
ilẹ̀ rẹ ni o. Ó dàárọ̀ o.
Ó dàárọ̀. Next week inshallah.
Next week.
Ọjọ́ ààrẹ.